Good evening. Welcome to the European Cup Final for 2019 from the Wanda Metropolitano Stadium here in Madrid. An all-English affair for the first time in 11 years as Tottenham are playing in their first final, take on 5 times previous winners Liverpool, appearing in their 9th European Cup Final. Good evening, of course, we're here from Madrid as the teams are just warming up at this moment as I speak to you now live here in Madrid. JB on the mic, I should say. John Stuttard in the commentary box. We're live here on Twitch as opposed to YouTube because we're serving a 90-day ban on the YouTube, I'm afraid, due to copyright strikes the other day, and it was an idea that Chris Whiteman, who was due to commentate on the game, came up with. Unfortunately, his voice has packed in, but hopefully we'll hear from him at the end of the broadcast and get his thoughts on the All-English final. But what a game it promises to be, so it's his idea. We're there now. But big news tonight that Harry Kane starts for Tottenham, and so too does Bobby Firmino as well. Let me just give you the two lineups. I'll give you them in full a little bit later as we see Spurs there come out onto the field, led of course by Harry Kane, the England captain, although he's not the captain for Spurs these days. It's Hugo Lloris, the French goalkeeper, who had the honour of lifting the World Cup last summer, and France won Europe's greatest football prize. And the lovely vast arena, and plenty of Spurs and Liverpool fans, as you would expect here. One Liverpool fan, in fact, made a journey in a £40 car that he bought in Liverpool and drove it all the way through France, into Spain and to Madrid for the final. I wonder if he'll drive it back again. But the big news is that Harry Kane starts. We're 20 minutes away, incidentally, from kick-off time. And should be an interesting game at the moment, as the players are now currently out on the field warming up, going through their final preparations in order for this massive game. Let me just give you the two lineups very quickly. Tottenham with Hugo Lloris in goals. He's the captain. Kieran Trippier, the former Burnley man, but he's lost his place in the squad for the Nations League. That's upcoming later this month. Of course, we're into June now. Toby Alderweireld, Jan Vertonghen, Danny Rose, and Sissoko. Harry Winks, who has been quite consistent when he's played, he gets an opportunity. Sissoko too. Harry Winks, Dele Alli, Christian Eriksen, and Son, and the main man Harry Kane starting up front. On the bench, quite a lot to get through on this. Davinson Sanchez, Samuel McMurray, Victor Wanyama, Michel Form, the goalkeeper, the substitute, one of two substitute goalkeepers incidentally for Spurs tonight. Eric Dyer, Kyle Walker-Peters, Llorente, Juan Foyth, Gazaniga, the second goalkeeper as substitute, Serge Aurier, Lucas Moura and Ben Davies. For Liverpool, their lineup, this is their 9th European final, of course 5 times winners. Alisson in goal, the former Roma keeper, and then Trent Alexander-Arnold playing in his 2nd European Cup final, Joel Matip, Virgil van Dijk and Andy Robertson, and then Henderson, Fabinho and Ronaldo in a 3-man midfield. They're playing 4-3-3, Spurs playing 4-5-1. And up front, Mo Salah, Bobby Firmino and Sadio Mane up front. On the bench for the Reds, we've got Dejan Lovren, James Milner, Joe Gomez, Daniel Sturridge, Moreno, Adam Lallana, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, the former Arsenal man, and Southampton too. Simon Mignolet, the substitute goalkeeper, of course, if required. Should Alisson pick up a knock or a significant injury. Shaqiri, Ryan Brewster, Divock Origi, who scored in that famous 3-2 victory against Newcastle some 3 or 4 weeks ago, and Carrera, the final substitute for them. Referee tonight comes from Slovenia, and again I question the wisdom of a referee of his calibre, but that's who UEFA have chosen. His two linesmen, Paratini and Vulcan, both come from the same country. Not trying to knock them, but I don't think they're the right officials for a final of this magnitude, but we'll just have to see how that one plays out. The fourth official is Antonio Laros of Spain. And the VAR referee is Danny Maculelli, a referee himself from the Netherlands, or Holland if you like to term it that way. And of course, the man handing out the prizes is another Slovenian, Alexander Kanafarin. He's 51 years old, UEFA president, and this is his third year in office. And well, and of course you get your opportunity to comment in the comment section as well below. But I just also want to pay tribute as well to some sad news coming in from Spain here today, in Madrid, from Seville, where former Arsenal man Jose Antonio Reyes, as I'm afraid, passed away after a very tragic car accident yesterday, I believe. He died last night, and I believe there'll be a minute's silence in memory of Jose Antonio Reyes. So there we go. I hope and our thoughts nevertheless are with his family at this very distressful time, and I'm sure he'll be looking down on us tonight, hoping for a fantastic game like we hope here. And of course you get your opportunity to comment like we usually do on YouTube, but unfortunately we're on Twitch tonight because of the restrictions on YouTube, so make sure you tune to Twitch. And when we take a little break before the teams come out onto the field, which will be in about 3 or 4 minutes time, we'll take a little break for me to get ready and for you lot to come over to Twitch. We'll leave a link in that description. Leave a link, and of course if you're on YouTube, just click on the video, the last video I did, and you'll have the link there as well. But obviously I'll go on the YouTube channel as well, and the JB Quiet YouTube channel, Facebook, and repost the link for anyone who wants to subscribe. And of course, what a great final it promises to be too. Plenty of Spurs fans, white, and of course the Liverpool red. I think Spurs are away to my right hand side, or maybe to the left, I'm not quite sure, but let's hear from one of the managers. Mauricio Pochettino is the Tottenham manager. He's speaking with Des Kelly.
Played for a number of weeks now. He said he was 100% fit. You obviously agree.
It's obvious, no? My answer, I think we believe and we feel that in the last few weeks we was ready to compete. Of course, that was we given time to feel that the emotion and determination. And the last, I think yesterday, I think we confirmed that it was completely ready to play.
And Harry Kane starts for Spurs. Is that a surprise for you at all?
No, we expected it, but if you now Lucas Moura would have played, the quality is massive what they have up front, and that's a decision we expected.
I think on the end it was the first time that we had all the squad fit to be selected. And that was so important. Of course, during the season, maybe we didn't have that situation, no? That this sometimes looks fair or not fair, but that the most important that the game is going to start. How it's going to finish, we don't know. We can play 90 or 120 minutes, and of course that we have amazing impact like Lamela, like Lucas, like Fernando. But it's not possible to put all. We cannot play with 16, 17 players.
Actually, I don't know exactly how to feel as a favorite. The only thing what I feel that we are ready, and it's a different situation. Of course, in this game, I don't think there's a real favorite, to be honest, because you saw the games, maybe played them. But last year we were a proper outsider. That's a big difference, obviously. So yeah, I think it will be an intense game. Will be a tight game. That is clear when these two teams meet each other. So that's all I need to know.
There we are. That's the voice thoughts of the two managers, and of course Jurgen got there as well. The Liverpool fans in great voice. and certain members of them will have been there before. And Jordan Henderson has a real opportunity tonight to join a elite band of Liverpool captains that have lifted this famous old trophy. Of course, Yemlin Hughes in 1977 and 78, Phil Thompson in 1981, Graham Souness in 84, and Steven Gerrard back in 2005. Should be an absolute cracker. Spurs appearing in their first European Cup final, and this really will be a tricky one to call whether who will win or not. We're going to take a 10-minute break. We're going to take a 5-minute break to get you guys on board if you haven't already, and then we'll be ready for when the teams come out in some 5 minutes time for the European Cup final. Liverpool against Tottenham coming right up after this short break. Welcome back to Madrid. The teams are out in the tunnel. We just had a little break there just to get my voice back because it's me doing all the presenting and the commentating, and now we're in commentators mode for this big European final. Ian Rush bringing out, and Ledley King bringing out the European Cup. Ian Rush has won it in 1984, of course, in that final in Rome where they beat Roma against all the odds. Russ is on, saying good evening. We are very, very privileged to have you here, all here. We may have been stopped from doing YouTube commentary for 90 days, but we are on Twitch, and we will be just to remind everybody who's not going to be with us on Twitch tonight, all the YouTubers that usually listen to us, we will be downloading this as a delayed down the line tomorrow to all you YouTubers as a recorded video as opposed to a live stream. So hopefully those who miss out, who don't have Twitch, then we don't want to miss you out either. Chris is the reason why I'm commentating is because Chris's voice is not recovered in time, so I'm now taking the commentary for you all now. But Chris hopefully will be on with his analysis of the match at the end of the evening. We hope anyway, if he's got any voice left, of course, because we rang him up about 4:30 just to see if he was going to commentate, but his throat and sadly has not cleared up, and he recommended that I do the commentary. So it's been a painstaking 2 hours for me, and as the teams come out to the Champions League play, being played by violinists there, two lovely violinists there, as the teams emerge from the tunnel right below me here. It's a cracking atmosphere for the final, and this should be an occasion hopefully to remember. And of course the comment section is open for business like it always is for all our live games, even on YouTube and Twitch. It's still the same as you would expect. And of course the JB MOTM in the second half of this match here tonight will be in operation. Spurs, their supporters, flags flying. Liverpool, just a few flags flying, of course. But Spurs, of course, in the final for the very first time. Liverpool supporters away to my right-hand side. Spurs away to my left. A vast crowd here of around 68,000 for this final. And what a game it promises to be. No national anthems, of course. It's just the Champions League theme playing in the background. They'll shake hands, break away, do their final prep. We'll check our teams. But the big news is Harry Kane starts for Spurs tonight, and Bobby Firmino has recovered from his injury. So too Mo Salah. And they both play too. Some great team news and some great individual performances we hope here. Spurs appearing in their first ever European Cup final. Liverpool their ninth, they've won it 5 times. 1977, 1978, 1981, 1984 and 2005. Right, let's take a check on the two teams, starting with Spurs of racing goal, and it's Rose at left back, Vertonghen and Alderweireld, the two centre backs, and Trippier. Dele Alli plays on the right, Sissoko, Eriksen, Winks and Son on the left. Eriksen playing in the attacking midfielder role with Winks and Sissoko in behind, and up front Harry Kane for Spurs. And I'll go through all the substitutes a little bit later on because there's so many of them to do. The referee tonight comes from Slovenia. That's Damir Slominka, and his two assistants have also come from Slovenia as well. I'm not really sure why they should be Slovenian referees. I think it should be the best German official or the best Spanish official, but the video assistant ref is Danny Mekaleli from Holland, so he will get the casting vote in that one. And the fourth official tonight comes from right here in Spain, in fact, Antonio Lahoz. Right then, the Liverpool lineup, strong as they could possibly get it, with Alisson in goal for them. A back four of Robertson at left back, Virgil van Dijk and Joe Matip, the two centre backs, and Alexander-Arnold on the right. Midfield three of Ronaldo, Fabinho in the centre and Henderson on the right. And up front, Sadio Mane will play on the left of the three-man striker with Fabinho in the centre and Salah out on the right. Substitutes 12 each, and it's for Spurs: Sanchez, Lamela, Wanyama formed Dyer, Walker-Peters, Llorente, Foyth, Gazzaniga, Aurier, Mora and Davis. For Liverpool, their subs: Lovren, Milner, Gomez, Sturridge, Moreno, Lallana, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Mignolet, who could be appearing in his last Liverpool game, or possibly taking part, even as a substitute. Shaqiri, Brewster, Divock Origi, who came on to win that crucial game at Newcastle a few weeks ago, which took the title race to the last second, and Carriga. I should also give you a weather check because it is quite hot. Sunny conditions. It's been a beautiful day here in Madrid all day. 30 degrees and humidity 15%. But now we're going to get together for a minute's silence in respect for Jose Antonio Reyes, the former Arsenal man who tragically was killed yesterday in a very, very tragic car crash, and our thoughts go out to his family at this very, very sad time. So let's pause for a minute's silence in honour of Jose Antonio Reyes. And well respected. In fact, it was a minute's applause and not in fact a minute's silence as I initially thought, but well done there for that. Well, the referee tonight, as I say, comes from Slovakia. What a game it promises to be. 90 minutes, extra time or penalties will decide it on the night. So we're all set to go then for this final, a terrific final, certainly in prospect. And what a game it does promise to be. So away we go, we're almost set to go for a cracking final. Liverpool in the red shirts about to get us underway, attacking the goal to our left. Spurs in their all-white strip, attacking the goal to our right. And away we go then in the European Cup final. We didn't think it was possible on Wednesday, but it is now. And we're live here on Twitch, and you'll be able to hear delayed commentary on a recorded video on YouTube a little bit later on during the weekend as the ball goes over the top, and a chance here for Mane in the opening seconds of the game. Mane trying to chip the ball in the appeal handball. I think he's given a penalty. He's ordered a penalty. Salinka. Liverpool got a penalty for hands. Mane played the ball in, and already in the first 30 seconds Liverpool might just have got themselves a penalty. They're checking with VAR. Mane with the cross. Well, the arm was out from Sissoko, and it was definitely inside the penalty box. Now then, early controversy here at the start, and it is a penalty, and Mo Salah's going to line it up. A minute gone here in the final. What a start. VAR just confirming it, and the penalty is given. So Mo Salah here in the first minute, or the second minute of the game, has the opportunity to give Liverpool the perfect start, the most crucial starts here. Referee Salinka is telling Lloris, you can't move off the line before the kick is taken. But he can dance along the line. I fancy it with left-footed Salah. What a moment for the Egyptian in the first 90 seconds here of this European Cup final. And the referee's happy. He's just making sure that Spurs aren't encroaching at all. So Salah comes run up, left-footed, strikes it down the middle, and Tottenham are behind. And it's Liverpool who go in front with almost 2 minutes gone of the European Cup final. What a start here! And Lloris just didn't get anywhere near it. Liverpool in front on a very warm night here in Madrid, and the worst possible start for Tottenham Hotspur. Terrific penalty. And that sets the final up a treat. Well, Sissoko ran the risk here. His arm was clearly out. And the referee, I don't think, had any other option but to order a penalty. And the ball struck down the middle. Lloris couldn't get there. He did and almost got it. But he was beaten by the ferocity of the Egyptian shot. And it was a surefire penalty, that's for certain. And Liverpool, within inside 3 minutes of the start, are a go ahead. And I don't think there's any argument about the award of the penalty. Brave decision at the start there from the referee there, the Slovenian referee, but it was a good decision. I've got to give him that. 3 gone in this final. Tottenham Hotspur 0, Liverpool 1. What a start here. Mo Salah. 2 minutes from the penalty spot. It's almost unbelievable. And Spurs, well, maybe nerves were showing. It's their first ever European Cup final. And maybe it just began to show. But we've got a goal already, and that can only be good for the game as regards the opportunity here as Fabinho gets the ball forward. Now Henderson on this halfway line hooks the ball forward towards Mane, but Trippier, the former Burnley man, can get that ball back, and Hugo Lloris, hasn't he? That's his first touch of the ball, amazingly, and he's already been beaten. And what an horrendous start for Pochettino, the Tottenham Hotspur manager, who's hinted in the press in the build-up to this game, if he wins this trophy, he might lead Tottenham and go back to his native Argentina. Well, it's the German leading the Argentinian here in this European Cup final. Jurgen Klopp, what a start for his side. Liverpool, who have missed out by 1 point to Manchester City in the Premier League title race some 2 to 3 weeks ago, are now ahead in the European Cup final. And looking to trump Manchester City in some respects because they've completed a treble. But here's Somno for Spurs, looking to hit back straight away, and there he is, and he's forced a corner. And a good response there from Tottenham Hotspur, as they need to be, because Liverpool now have got it all in their capabilities. Spurs haven't had a good record against Liverpool in the league, so this is a real opportunity. Now Trippier does take the corners. He's been omitted from the 23 for the Nations League semi-finals, Nations League finals, which take place later this month in Portugal. And Gareth Southgate had plenty to say on the date on this particular match being held on this particular evening, as that corner comes in from Trippier, headed out on the 6-yard box by, I think it might have been by Matip. No Lovren, of course. But a big moment, big evening for Joel Matip there at the heart of that Liverpool defence, along with tied, of course, Virgil van Dijk. And of course, you can put your comments in the comment section, of course, here on Twitch. It's still the same for Twitch as it is, of course, for YouTube, but it's the same coverage you come to expect. Here's Mane, who won the penalty, back inside to Henderson. Henderson out to Mane, who's on the far side, the left-hand side for Liverpool. Mane plays it into Salah, who scored the only goal. Tries to play a 1-2 there with Mane, but Spurs had enough white shirts back to get rid of the danger. Now Liverpool just need to be calm here. Jurgen Klopp, what a start for his team. And, he's been in this final twice before, both with Liverpool last year when they lost to Gareth Bale and Real Madrid, and of course in his Borussia Dortmund days in that old German final at Wembley when they were beaten 2-1 by Bayern Munich, Ian Robben scoring the winner in the very last minute. I remember that night in 2013, a great final at Wembley, played by two magnificent German sides at the time, and there was nothing to choose between them, just apart from that one moment of pure genius, really, that night at Wembley from Ian Robben. Right, Spurs have a throw midway inside the Liverpool half on the far side. They have to just stay calm, cool and collected now, Spurs. 7 gone. If you've joined us late, Liverpool have scored a penalty in the 2nd minute through Mo Salah after a cross from Mane was clearly handled in the penalty area by Sissoko for Spurs, and here is Sissoko now on the ball, trots over halfway, frees it forward towards Eriksen. Eriksen trying to get the ball forward, and that should be Trent Alexander-Arnold to get back to Alisson. He still a bit of a Liverpool goalkeeper there, Trent Alexander-Arnold. It was a poor back pass, and Alisson did well to first of all stop it from going behind for a corner and then knock it out of play about 15 yards up the field. But Spurs have possession now, and they need to have a good little spell with the ball, you feel, as Trippier plays it inside of Harry Winks. Big night for him, getting a start there. Not many people would have expected Winks to start, but he has had a consistent season, that's for sure. And Rose can't keep it in on the far side. It's a Liverpool throw-in line with their own penalty area. So Mo Salah, that's his fifth goal in 12 Champions League games, and of course he's the joint winner of the Golden Boot along with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang as well for the Premier League. A real warrior up front for Liverpool, injured for some of the season, but back in the biggest match of them all, and he scored the opening goal of the game. The only goal so far, with 8.5 minutes gone here on the JB Claret Twitch channel as opposed to YouTube, but you will be able to hear the game back on YouTube, albeit recorded. But we are live on Twitch. At the moment it's 1-0 to Liverpool. That second minute goal from the penalty spot, Mo Salah, sure-fired left-footed shot down the middle. And here's Dele Alli, former MK Dons player, cuts inside, looks to try and get it in towards Son. Now Eriksen, edge of the area, back again, once more towards Son. Son back now, Sissoko. Will he make up for his error? He tries a long-range shot, hits it right-footed, but he hits it way over the crossbar. And a goal kick. If it was rugby, he'd have scored 3 points, but it's not rugby, it's football, and it remains 1-0 for Liverpool as Son tried to trick his way through, and a good challenge there by Joel Matip, as well as Son trying to take on everybody in red, every all-comer in red. But Joel Matip, big night for him, in place of Dejan Lovren, who's out through suspension, and he made a fantastic tackle there as Van Dijk hits a lovely 70-yard ball towards Mane inside the Spurs penalty area, and in the end Trippier had to get back and knock it out for a corner. That was a wonderful ball from something like 70-80 yards there by Virgil van Dijk. It was a marvellous long ball, and well, I do apologise, Mike, if you can listen along, we can. I do apologise that it's a long time since I've used Twitch, so apologies for that, but we'll try and amend that during the half-time interval if we can. Anyway, 0-0 here at the moment, but it's been a remarkable start to the game, with Liverpool scoring in the second minute. The best way to do it, I think, Mike, is to add me as a friend. So add me as a friend and you'll be able to get on there. As the corner comes in, pissed away by the goalkeeper. It was a good corner, in fact, from Henderson from the near side, the Liverpool left-hand side. And now the ball ushered back to Alisson. We've played just shy of 11 minutes. It's 1-0 to Liverpool if you've joined us late. And of course this game will be and the recording of this commentary will be the full commentary plus presentations, the whole lot will be on YouTube tomorrow as well, for those who can't log on to Twitch. And I know a lot of the 500 nearly 600 subscribers that are with us for YouTube can't usually get onto Twitch, but we have left links on YouTube videos and goodness knows what. So drop us a line if you can, and we'll try and amend the comment section as well for you at half time, and we'll get all that sorted out. We've got to concentrate on the match in progress, of course. On Harry Kane was tripped there, and a free kick to Tottenham, and Harry Kane is come off worse for wear here. Remember, he's been training now for about 7 weeks to get in preparation since he did his ligaments against Manchester City in the quarter-final. And it was a good first tackle there by Matip there, and then the second one, Kane won the ball quite easily, and he was clearly tripped there by Joel Matip. It was a really stupendous sort of Tyrone as Spurs took the free kick quickly, trying to get Son in behind, but Liverpool were very, very quick to seize on the danger. And then a long ball down the line, down the Liverpool right, comes to nothing. The ball is actually out of play for a throw-in, just shy of halfway inside the Spurs half. Liverpool, remember, lead for a 2-second minute penalty from Mo Salah after a clear handball. Sissoko did stick his arm out, and the referee from Slovenia had no doubts but to give a penalty. He did check with the VAR, which was Danny Makelele of Holland, and he concurred with the match referee, and the referee made the decision pure and simply based on that, as the ball is ushered back to Hugo Lloris. Lloris gets it just shy of halfway, which is headed back there by Matip. Bernd Dijkling to win the second ball. Spurs now have it on the far side here with Dele Alli. Now Trippier has it deep inside his own half at the moment. Tottenham 0, Liverpool 1 is the scoreline, and a long ball forward now, and it searches for Trippier by the byline. Trippier back inside. Eriksen has possession. Eriksen now back. Sissoko takes possession. Back inside to Eriksen. Trippier on the elbow left if he decides to use him, but he decides to get a crossing himself towards the far side of the penalty box, and then the ball is headed out for a throw-in. And it remains 1-0. If you're joining us late, I do apologise. We are on the comment section at the moment. The comment section will amend during our half-time break here, and we'll try and get you all involved if we can in the second half, as Trippier can't keep the ball in play as that ball was spread out to him deep inside the Liverpool half. It's a throw into Liverpool. 14 gone. It's 1-0 to Liverpool. Just seen the replay of the Mo Salah penalty, and it was a cool penalty from the Egyptian international. And Mike has joined us. Mike, good evening everybody. It is working now, so the comment section is starting to work, guys, so don't be afraid to put a comment on. If there's any Liverpool fans listening in or Spurs fans, don't be shy, give us a shout out. And of course, keep your comments clean, as we do for all our live matches, either on here or YouTube, of course. We like to keep our comments very clean. We are still very much, even though we're on Twitch tonight, we are very much a family show. 1-0 to Liverpool, coming up towards a quarter of an hour gone of this very, very good and very, very riveting European Cup final, the Champions League final to give it its current title, but in old money it's the European Cup final, the champions of Europe. And it was a definite penalty. I don't think there was much argument. The VAR was conclusive. I would have given it personally, because it did look handball. When you stick your arm out in a natural position, I think the referee was entitled to give that decision. It was a good decision from the Slovenian referee. As the long ball forward, but that might just run out of play. Despite the best efforts of Son there on the far side, it's gone behind for a Liverpool goal kick. We've had just shy of 15.5 minutes here of the first half, and it's Tottenham 0, Liverpool 1. And Mike, who's an Arsenal fan, you'll feel a lot better. He's been talking to me during the last couple of days when we've announced the game on Twitch. He was a bit upset when we lost the Europa final, when the Europa commentary was lost, and there was a lot of worried people out there who said that we wouldn't be able to stream this one live, but we've pulled out all the stops, and Twitch has been our prayers. But so if you are listening and you haven't joined in our coverage, you can get links on YouTube. If you look on my latest YouTube page announcing the game live here on Twitch, we have links in the description of that last video, and of course I've been putting links out on my JB Claret Facebook page as well, the companion page to my YouTube channel, and it might be a Twitch channel as well. The way things are going at the moment. Remember, we can't do live football on YouTube. I think I've had I think Arsenal team decided to boycott the final after you couldn't commentate. Oh dear me. Anyway, Liverpool coming forward. Oh, good shot from all of 25 yards with the right foot. And it was just wide of the Lewis's left post. It was Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think, of all people, who struck the shot. It was. Appearing in his second successive European Cup final. Played in last year's final against Real Madrid for when they lost. And we've got a we've got a encroacher. Well, we had an encroacher on the field. Apparently a female of the female persuasion. I'm not sure if it's our friend Sue. And here we are. Oh dear me. I'm not going to tell you if she's got anything on or not, because we are a family show. But she does look kind of hot. I will say that. I'm very surprised the television Spanish director hasn't cut to her, because I think she did have a leotard on, or a bra of some kind, so I think she was clothed. As we just see a replay of the shot from Trent Alexander-Arnold, it just goes a foot wide of the left-hand post. Well, a nice blonde woman adding a little bit of glamour to the occasion. I think she's now been escorted off the field, and we start with the well, I don't think Theresa May is blonde somehow. I think she's turned grey since becoming Prime Minister 2 years ago. Of course, she's resigning, and there is another Theresa May of the adult entertainment variety as well. But we're talking about the politician Theresa May. Anyway, back with the game. Let's go away from politics and sexy women and get back to the main job of this commentary studio. This is the European Cup Final, and here's Andy Robertson on the left-hand side, deep inside Spurs territory, running towards the area. But Sissoko here, who crazily gave away that penalty, does well and shepherds Robertson out the fray. Robertson, of course, a signing from Hull for something like £8 million. And he pressed in a very poor Hull team, and who were relegated about 2 or 3 years ago. And Jurgen Klopp saw what he liked in that season and promptly snapped him up with a very good price, I have to say, today's football terms, where you see players now going for 80 to 90 million. Meanwhile, it's Son at the other end for Spurs. Oh, he tried to play the ball back. I thought he might have gone through there, but he didn't. I don't think he was brave enough. It is a big final, and there's a lot of pressure here. Liverpool the favourites, and quite rightly so, considering their European Cup final experience. This is Dele Alli. Remember, Spurs appearing in their very first final, and they could go either one or two ways. Now then, Eriksen trying to turn it in, and again, good defending this time. Jordan Henderson getting back there and hooking the ball out for throwing for Spurs in line with the 18-yard box of Liverpool. Left-hand side. Ball back inside there again to Eriksen. Kane waits in the centre with intent as that ball comes in, and Alisson takes it very calmly inside the 6-yard area, and the danger is past for Liverpool now as we come towards the 20-minute mark of this 2019 European Cup final here in Madrid, the Wanda Metropolitano Stadium, the new ground of Atletico Madrid, of course. Nice vast arena, holds something just shy of 70,000 here, and at the moment it's played host to a really riveting and a great European Cup final with 20 minutes, as I say, gone. It's Spurs 0, Liverpool 1. That second-minute penalty from Mo Salah, in case you've just joined us a little bit late. As Salah plays the ball in there towards Firmino. Then Salah gets his shot off just outside the area with his left foot, gets a deflection off one of the Spurs defenders, and goes behind to the left of Lloris's goal, and behind for a corner there. But this was the opportunity for Sod. He's not blessed with the greatest of pace, Sod. And in the end, Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold actually got back there. Anyway, it's an opportunity now for Liverpool. We were 1 goal ahead, but it's all on the next goal. 21 gone. Liverpool still leading, of course, on that second-minute goal. A little bit of pushing and shoving going on between Wijnaldum and Dele Alli. Trent Alexander-Arnold on the left-hand side, right-footed with the corner. Into the 6-yard area it goes, fisted away by Tottenham's captain Hugo Lloris. And of course, Spurs losing 2-1 in both Premier League games with an aggregate of 4 goals to 2 as over those 2 games. As Lloris there, I'm not sure what the Spanish director is doing there, showing a replay of a goalkeeper just bog-standardly punching the ball away. I don't understand these foreign television directors who do that. Just keep the game live. Show a replay if there is a major incident. That is not a major incident for me. As Mo Salah now gets the ball from the throw-in, being tangled there by 1 or 2 Spurs defenders, gets his shot off just to the right of the penalty area. And I think that ball did not go out of play. I think it's gone out for a throw-in. Vertonghen was right at the back of him here, had a fistful of his shirt, was pushing and shoving. Salah did a little bit of pushing and shoving himself. There was the shot coming in. Yeah, but it's bloomed out for a throw-in to Tottenham. In fact, in line with the 18-yard area, which Kieran Trippier, the former Burnley player, takes, but he's been given away now to Bobby Firmino, who tries to play the ball in towards Mo Salah, but he's lost out this time. Remember, a trophy drought for either manager tonight will be ended here. But it's Liverpool looking the more likely scorers here. Ronaldo has it on the far side, the former Newcastle man, of course. And here's Robertson, a teasing little cross in there towards Salah, and it was a good interception there by Danny Rose to nod it away for a throw. Oh my goodness me. That could have been a second there for Liverpool. Andy Robertson on the left-hand side put in a magnificent cross. And it almost went towards the far right-hand post. And it almost ended up being a second goal there for Liverpool as the flick on there by Henderson. And away by Son, but only as far as Ronaldo. Ronaldo now back to Fabinho. And here is once more Andy Robertson. Robertson is having plenty to say for himself. Finds Sadio Mane, the former Southampton man. Left-hand side. To the byline he goes. Tries to get the cross. It comes off Trippier last. It's a corner kick for Liverpool. We're starting to turn up the pressure in as we go past the halfway mark of this European Cup final. Tottenham Hotspur 0, Liverpool 1. And let's look at that cross again. It was a perler of a cross there by Robertson. And Rose got... It was not the tallest of defenders. Got something on it there just to turn it out for a corner. Not much to spare in that. As Alexander-Arnold takes the corner. Goes short. And it's back for Robertson again. Crossing from the left again towards the penalty spot of the top inside the Tottenham area. As a Spurs player come tumbling. A free kick has been awarded against the Scot Andy Robertson. And a free kick. It foul on Trippier in fact. 24 gone. It's still 1-0. And yet, in this final, we haven't had a yellow card as yet in this final. And, I think, Kieran Trippier is not the player that... Well, that's a bit of a soft, to be honest, one. I think Trippier made a little bit of a meal of that. Maybe Robertson could have been booked for that, but Trippier just made a little bit of a meal of it. I don't like bad mouthing ex-Burnley players, and I love Kieran Trippier to bits, but... I think he might have made a little meal of it there, Trips. It has to be said. He's not the tough character we knew him from his days at Burnley. But he's still a great character. And he's still liked by people like me who always rated him as a player. I've been focusing all his career and his ability. And I feel very sorry for him that he's been omitted. But when you got players like Trent Alexander-Arnold in better form, it's very, 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 very much so. They were claiming a red card there against Andy Robertson, but he didn't book. Robertson for that. But the referee is aware that this is a showpiece. This is UEFA's real big showpiece of the year, and that's no disrespect to the Europa League. But this is the big showpiece in European football, the European Cup Final. This is where the champions of Europe are crowned. And the referees are under immense pressure, of course, from the powers that be to try and keep two full teams on, as most referees are from different associations. That's why we never had a proper sending off in an FA Cup Final up until 1985 when Peter Willis of County Durham harshly sent off Kevin Moran. Older listeners may remember. When playing for Manchester United, and he fouled Peter Reid, and he was clear to be a clear goal scoring opportunity, but although Reid was about 40 yards away from goal, and he wasn't blessed with the greatest of pace, Peter Reid, in those days. But he was a swashbuckling midfield player. But Kevin Moran, it was a late tackle. I'd have booked him personally, but Peter Willis really set the trend for red cards in a major cup final, and we've had so many now in massive finals of all shapes and sizes. The FA Cup, League Cup, European Cup, all it's in players sent off, and it's sad when you don't get two full teams on. But I suppose you've got to play to the letters of the laws as well. You've got to play to FIFA regulations and all that game. It's a very tough business being a referee, I suppose. And I'm the biggest critic of referees, as a lot of people will know, as Mike and Russ will know, listening to my commentaries week in, week out, will demonstrate to me. Anyway, 27 gone here at the here in Madrid in this European Cup final. Liverpool bidding to win their 6th European Cup, to add to victories in 77 when they beat Borussia Mönchengladbach, and then they beat then 1978 they beat Bruges 1-0 at Wembley. Kenny Dalglish scoring the winning goal that night in 78. 81 against Real Madrid in Paris. Alan Kennedy with the goal that won the trophy that night for Liverpool. 3 minutes from the end, I think. And in 84 in Rome against Roma, a penalty shootout win. Alan Kennedy again, the hero, and Bruce Grobbelaar spaghetti legs. Who can forget that is? Meanwhile, here's a chance here for Son, as he keeps that ball in, but the flag is up for an offside decision as Trippier crosses the ball, and it's a free kick to Liverpool. And of course, that memorable comeback, of course, in Istanbul when Milan thought they had it won after 45 minutes. And I have to say, I was in the first half when I was commentating, Mike, I actually felt the referee should have ordered a penalty. It did look a penalty when Lacazette was taken out, I have to tell you. And I couldn't believe it when VAR didn't give that decision. I did honestly think it was a penalty ordered. Anyway, 3 kick to Liverpool midway inside the Spurs half. 28.5 minutes gone here. Trippier's the offender. And now the referee's just got to get his... referee just trying to referee this as sensibly as he can, and which is no bad thing. Pochettino looking frustrated. Jurgen Klopp still looking pensive because a 1-goal lead is still a very slender one. Liverpool would need that extra insurance policy or security of a second one. Trent Alexander-Arnold's up behind this one. It's something like 40 yards from goal as he chips that in from Mo Salah. It was a poor free kick really by his standards, and it goes behind for a goal kick for Spurs. Dead central as he took that free kick, and don't think the Liverpool players were ready for that. Cracking atmosphere inside this stadium. You could hardly... I mean, there are 16,000 tickets each. I'm amazed. You know, it's because it's in Madrid, and to be fair, all the airlines laid on extra flights to all the supporters. There's an estimated 70,000 Liverpool and Spurs fans combined for this fixture alone. As I said in my preview programme some 3 hours ago, it's really pretty good. But Jurgen Klopp, who's won the German Cup, he's won the Bundesliga in his days in Borussia Dortmund, looking to add the UEFA Champions League amongst his achievements. A very charismatic manager, of course, and he can only be good for the game. Very charismatic. Half an hour gone. If you joined us late, it's 1-0 Liverpool. That second minute goal for Mo Salah, the difference between these two sides. Spurs finished 4th in the Premier League, as it turned out. I think they finished 4th. Chelsea finished 3rd, and Liverpool, of course, finished 1 point behind Manchester City, and were dead unfortunate not to win the league. In any other year, they would have won the league. 97 points they ended up with, compared with City's 98. And it was just that last 2 or 3 minutes. They did their bit on the last day, but then City showed why they were champions, really, of the land when they were, certainly of the English Premier League, when they came back in true grit against Brighton, who weren't going to make it easy for them at the Amex on that final day. But Liverpool, this would be some massive consolation prize for Liverpool if they were to win the European Cup. It would trump Manchester City in every department. City have got on, of course, to complete the domestic treble, which you heard on YouTube a couple of weeks ago. What a final that was, 6-0. But I don't think it's going to be anything as one-sided as this. Spurs very much in the game. We've not really seen Harry Kane yet as an attacking force yet, which is a disappointment for him, and a disappointment for every Tottenham fan inside this vast arena. And of course, this result will be pleasing all the Arsenal fans, including our good friend Mike Hanneman, who's a massive Arsenal fan. And of course, we paid our respects, of course, to Antonio Reyes, and our thoughts, of course, go to his family and friends at this time, and Mike was speaking to me during the afternoon whilst we were prepping up for this big final, and he was telling me that one guy on Twitter absolutely was disrespectful. I won't go into details what he actually said, but it wasn't very nice. But we don't need fans like him in the game. I think he was a Manchester United fan. Anyway, back to the game, and it's Sissoko trying to play that ball in there towards Son, and almost an opportunity there for Spurs. This is Trippier now, in back in field to Eriksen. Spurs now starting to get a bit ahead of steam here, but they do need to get the next goal to make a fight of it. As the ball goes out to the far side, and it's Danny Rose, left hand side for Spurs, attacking the goal to our right as we look here. All the press and television and radio commentators all in one big enclosed space at the top of the stand where the cameras are based. As Kane takes possession, plays the ball back. Still 1-0 to Liverpool in the European Cup final, and that ball is well behind Trippier, who actually paused the idea. I'm not sure how he'll feel about that. Harry Winks just hasn't turned up yet in this big occasion. Spurs fans looking anxiously on. And of course, this really is a massive final, for all sorts of reasons. Be no crowd trouble as I've seen in Madrid today. As Son and Ali make a break. It's Ali now inside the penalty area. He's got Son on the far side, and in fact, all Ali gets out of that particular enterprising move is a corner kick, which he's going to take himself. Or will he leave it to Kieran Trippier? In fact, he takes it short, Ali, to Trippier. Trippier sizes up a good cross, but he can't find Son or Kane inside the penalty area. It is a throw-in, however, to Tottenham, midway inside the Liverpool half of the field. 10 yards away from the edge of the Liverpool penalty area on the right-hand side for Spurs. 34 minutes gone, last 11 minutes before stoppage time before the break, and we'll take our usual quota of 10 minutes to get our breath back in time for the second half commentary. Remember, this match has got to be decided tonight, either through 90 minutes as we stand at the moment. If Liverpool were to hold on, they would win the game after 90 minutes. If it's level after 90 minutes, if Spurs were to get back in it, or if it was down 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, or whatever score would be level, whatever draw it may well be, 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, 4-4, not that we'll get 4-4, then it would go to extra time. If it's still level after extra time, which because we'll play half an hour, 15 minutes each way, of course, and then a penalty shootout to decide. And of course, if we do get that far, we'll explain the rules for the penalty shootout if we need to. If we do get that far, of course. There's still a long way to go here on in, and at the moment, as things stand at the moment, it's Liverpool who are winning this final by a goal to nil. That second minute penalty from Salah. But here's Henderson, right hand side. His cross was very deep. I think the ball did carry out a play from the cross. Behind and back in again. So a goal kick to Tottenham it is. 35.5 minutes now have been played. Still Spurs very much still in this final. Of course, the big night of sport doesn't stop. We saw the derby being won. There's the French Open tennis that's been going on all day. The World Cup cricket's back in full swing. England got off to a magnificent start on Thursday against South Africa again at the Oval. Favourites to win the Cricket World Cup. Hopefully we'll have some commentary for you on that tournament once the football season's finished. Hopefully we'll see England with the Cricket World Cup. Of course, they won the Football World Cup in 1966 and won the Rugby World Cup back in 2003. Some 16 years since that happened now. I still remember it like yesterday when Johnny Wilkinson in that last minute of extra time drop kicked to give England glory. Ross has updated us with an earlier result involving England women. I think it was a changed team. I'm not sure. I didn't see the game, but they lost 1-0 at the Amex this afternoon to New Zealand. But as I say, the big test will come in France this month for the FIFA Women's World Cup. 65% to Liverpool's 35 that Spurs have, but it's Liverpool that winning at the moment, and that's the only stat that matters if you're a Liverpool fan. Here's Mo Salah on the right hand side for Liverpool, deep inside the Spurs half of the field, plays it out to Bobby Firmino. And then the ball is hooked out by Alderweireld. In fact, it came off Mo Salah last, so a throw in to Spurs, midway inside their own half on the far side, the left-hand side. 37 minutes gone. In case you join us late, a second-minute penalty from Mo Salah after a clear handball by Sissoko for Spurs. And that is the way we are at the moment in terms of this European Cup final. Trophy, of course, referred to as Old Big Ears by Clive Tilsley. It's the first European Cup final I can remember since '98 where Clive Tilsley's not here. It's a shame that this game is not being shown live on terrestrial television. Shame on UEFA for that. There's Robertson, darts forward, gets a shot in! Just to the left of the D, and Hugo Lloris had to turn that behind for the corner. That was a fantastic save from the Tottenham captain and the French international, as that right-footed shot there from the former Hull City player and the Scottish international and Andy Robertson. A terrific shot by the Scot, and it almost led to a second Liverpool goal. Well, Spurs might argue he should have been sent off, but Robertson is a terrific player on his day, and tonight he's revelling in this European Cup final appearance. Liverpool get a corner, could have been so much more but for that brilliant save from Lloris as the corner comes in from the far side, and then the shot from the edge of the area from Salah with his right foot goes over the bar and behind for a Tottenham goal kick, coming up towards 38 and three-quarter minutes, and we've got an injury here. Might have been an elbow for Jan Vertonghen, who is broke down in tears. This was the shot again by Andy Robertson. He hit this with some ferocity, and what a save! A big left hand from Hugo Lloris, flipping it over the crossbar and behind for a corner, which didn't come to anything in the end. We're still receiving treatment. Well, I think we all need a breather after the 39 minutes that has preceded this. As Jan Vertonghen's elbow, I think it's his left elbow here. That's the big trouble. The Tottenham physio down on the field inside the Spurs penalty box, administering the treatment. I think it happened here when this corner was being taken. A little collision here with who was it with number? It was Gini Wijnaldum. He collided with, in fact, and he's a tough character, Jan Vertonghen. And now Pochettino's got a decision to make out of the substitutes. He's got 12 substitutes to choose from. He's got Davison Sanchez, Eric Lamela, Victor Wanyama, Michel Vorm, Eric Dyer, Kyle Walker-Peters. Laurenti Foyt could come on as a natural replacement. Gazaniga, Sergio Aurier, the right-hand side player, Lucas Moura and Ben Davis. Now the Tottenham substitutes. Just remind you of the Liverpool subs. Lovren, who is not suspended, he is in the squad, but James Milner, Joe Gomez, Danny Sturridge, Alberto Moreno, Adam Lallana, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Simon Mignolet, the goalkeeper, as the ball is chipped forward there towards Sadio Mane. Trippier saw him towards the right hand side, but Mane's still got the ball here as we go into the final 5 minutes of the first half here in Madrid. It's Tottenham 0, Liverpool 1, and it's Andy Robertson who came mighty close to extending Liverpool's lead as he plays the ball in there towards Wijnaldum. Now Salah has it. Mane's still hugging the left-hand touchline. It's a Liverpool throw. Just to finish the substitutes this time, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Simon Mignolet, the goalkeeper, Jordan Shaqiri, Ryan Brewster, David Origi and Carrera are the Liverpool changes. Should Jurgen Klopp rather. I nearly said Russ Burning then. I nearly made him Liverpool manager then. Sorry, Russ. Anyway, here's Son now trying to break away for Spurs, but he's lost it to Henderson. Henderson with a right-footed shot. Deflects away. Still a chance now. Bobby Firmino on the edge of the area. Comes out again to Henderson. Now a chance here for Alexander-Arnold to get his cross in. Hits Danny Rose, and it will be a corner to Tottenham. And Spurs now on the rack a little bit after a good little spell for them. I'd rather be Everton, boss. Anyway, right, corner kick. Liverpool 1 up. Can they get that second goal, which will make Jurgen Klopp's half-time team talk that bit more easier for him? Harry Kane, we've seen precious little of. Maybe that injury still affecting him a bit as that corner came in towards Van Dijk. And here's Salah with a shot deflected. He hit it with his left foot. He got a deflection, and that's going to be a corner. This time on the other side, Trent Alexander-Arnold will probably go over and take that. 3 minutes to half time here, plus any additional time. And I hope you enjoy this commentary at home of this European Cup final. Live on Twitch, but we will be recording this. There will be a recorded video on YouTube. But it has to be recorded, not live streamed, as the corner comes in. It's hooked out by Spurs. It was a poor corner really from, it might have been Trent Alexander-Arnold, or was it Mo Salah who took the corner? Couldn't tell who it was. Anyway, it's a Liverpool throw, midway inside the Spurs half. Andy Robertson to take his little flashpoint with Trips. Kieran Trippier, of course, has actually played really well in this European Cup final. I'll be interested to see what the television pundits make of some of the incidents at half time, whether I agree or disagree or not. But it's Liverpool leading by a goal to nil. We're coming up to the final 2 minutes plus stoppage time as Alexander-Arnold plays the ball into the penalty area. Son now tries to juggle with it deep inside his own half. In fact, he's been fouled in the process. A couple of the Spurs substitutes down below me warming up as a long ball forward. Son was just onside as that ball was played. Ali now trying to get Kane in. Kane goes down. Referee's not happy that Kane made a little bit of it. I think he was happy enough with the tackle. Salah now on the chase. But Patonga will get that back to Hugo Lloris. So Lloris kicks away. And Spurs just struggling to clear their lines a little bit here. Here's Danny Rose now on the left hand side. Rose now still inside his own half. Plays a lovely ball down the line here to Son. He's got Kane and Ali. Or Robert Ali. He's got Kane and Son in the middle. And he tries to play the ball into Son. Maybe he should have played it across from the left. A cross ball from the left. And maybe that might have been a better option really than to try to thread that through. And a goalkeeper like Allison is not going to be fooled that very easily. So we're inside the final minute of the first half of normal time. There will possibly be some stoppage time. There was a little bit of an injury for Jan Vertonghen, which took at least a couple of minutes, so I would probably wager 2 minutes of stoppage time may well be added by our fourth official tonight, which I can remind you is Antonio Laos of right here of Spain. Why is it not a Spanish official officiated? I'm not sure, but Salinka has done really well in charge of this final. Proving me wrong so far with one or two of his decisions. Gave a penalty, quite right to give the penalty really. Meanwhile it's a Spurs throw in. About 15 yards inside the Liverpool half. Trippier taking it down right in front of Mauricio Pochettino. Tottenham 1-0 down here. That second minute penalty, Mo Salah, and as I predicted and as prophesied, we've got 2 added minutes to be added on at the end of what's been a high octane first half. That is a certainty. This is Son now for Spurs. Right hand side, goes forward, looks to find Ali. There was a man free, and Danny Rose was free too as Eriksen tries the left footed shot which goes over the bar, but they had a man free on the far side, and it was Danny Rose, and he was in acres of space, and I think one or two of the Spurs fans to my right was trying to point that out, and I think Dele Alli was a little bit early into that as Eriksen tried the left footed shot that sails over the crossbar into the Liverpool fans behind Alisson's goal. Mike's just wolfed down his tee to rejoin the commentary stream, not wanting to miss 1 second of the commentary action. And we'll have a 10-minute break as we do for all our live matches. Usually on YouTube we always have a 10-minute break, and then we'll be reconvening for the second half. We've still got a minute to go of the stoppage time. I should also stress it's a minimum of 2 minutes. The civilian referee might want to add further time on it on top of the added time that we've already had, but it'd be a nice time to get off mic, get down for a brew, and hopefully no Indian companies will be able to take my stream off Twitch. If they do, I will die and hang myself. Hopefully not. Anyway, a minute and a half of the 2 to play, or have been played, and here's Dele Alli now for Spurs. Back in field it goes. Liverpool 1-0 up. That second minute penalty is proving to be the difference. That's a lovely ball played in there, but it was Kane who crossed it in the end, and it was a poor cross. 10 seconds of stoppage time left to play. I should also stress it's a a minimum of. Solinka, the referee, just making things clear. We have played the 2 minutes of stoppage time. We might have a chance for one more attack before the half disintegrates. No, we're not going to have much time. Well, there is the half-time whistle blown by the referee, and Liverpool, appearing in their 9th European Cup final, are on course as things stand at the half-time for their 6th European Cup, because a penalty that was ordered in the first minute against Sissoko for a handball. As Mane played a ball in from the left-hand side, it hit Sissoko's outstretched arm. It was outstretched, hit his arm. The referee had no other option but to give the penalty. VAR agreed with that, and Liverpool going through that penalty after 2 minutes from Mo Salah. That's the situation here in this 2019 European Cup final, and what a performance it has been so far. Liverpool in command. Spurs have had possession but have created very little in terms of chances. Andy Robertson also came close later in the first half when his 30-yard thunderbolt was well saved by Hugo Lloris. But at the moment, it's 1-0 to Liverpool, and that is the situation at the break. And we're going to get a 10-minute break, and after that break, full second half commentary of the European Cup final between Liverpool and Spurs. But at the moment, here in Madrid, as we take this 10-minute break in very sweltering 30-degree conditions, it's Tottenham 0, Liverpool 1. See you after the break. Welcome back to the Wanda Metropolitano Stadium here in Madrid for the European Cup Final. The team's just about to come out here on the tunnel. I hope you had a good half-time break as well as I have. And so far so good. Nobody has tried to claim copyright on the stream, which is quite good. As we just see, Mauricio Pochettino there. Liverpool just about to come out of their tunnel as well. Jurgen Klopp, track-suited, baseball cap a la Tony Pulis. Wonder if he got some fashion tips off old Tony Pulis. Former Stoke manager, just been sacked actually at Middlesbrough. Pochettino in his suit. Looks as though he's dressed for a funeral. He's got his black shirt, black tie on, black suit. As if he's a pallbearer at a funeral, but hopefully he won't be pallbearing Spurs as post-mortem if they were to lose this final. They are losing this one by a goal to nil. And remember, it has to be decided tonight. No replays. Extra time, 90 minutes, extra time, penalties if needs be. And, well, let's hope for a great second half. Liverpool won up that penalty after 2 minutes, in case you missed it earlier, from a handball by Sissoko. It was a stupid thing to do. Stuck his hand out. Was listening to the half-time analysis. Peter Walton, who's a former Premier League referee, who's working for television tonight in the UK, he gave a penalty. He said straight away penalty. I think the general consensus was a penalty. I suppose Greg Hoddle tried to question it, but being a Spurs man, I suppose he would say that. But I think the referee was right in giving the penalty. Right, both teams are on. All 22 players, as far as I can see, out for the second half. Liverpool, Spurs to get us underway. They're attacking their supporters away to our right. Liverpool to our left. And Liverpool attacking towards the right where their fans are situated behind. No changes from either side. And we're all set for the second half. Will we have a potential 45 minutes or will we have more? Well, it all depends on whether Spurs can equalise, and remember, if it does end a draw, we will have extra time and maybe penalties. We're still a long way from that. 45 minutes still to decide, and hopefully the second half will be a bit better than the first. It just flew by a little bit, passed us by a little bit, but I didn't think it was a bad watch. Although one or two of the television pundits were saying it wasn't a particularly great first half. I would probably disagree with that. I think there's been some good pockets of play throughout the first half, but here's Winks now for Spurs. Goes over the halfway line, got away from two Liverpool challengers. Now here's a chance now for Trippier to knock a long ball forward, headed away there by Robertson, all on the left hand side, deep inside Liverpool territory. The ball has not been kept in, and I think it's a Tottenham throw in, about 5 yards, 10 yards inside the half of the team. Just to remind you of the Spurs team: Lloris, Trippier, Alderweireld, Vertonghen, who seems to have shaken off that injury he got towards the end of the first half, Rose, Harry Winks, Sissoko, who gave the penalty away, Christian Eriksen, Dele Alli, Son and Harry Kane. Subs: Vorm, Gazzaniga, Sanchez, Lamela, Wanyama, Dyer, Walker-Peters, Llorente, Foyth, Aurier, Lucas, Davis and Davis. We'll come to the Liverpool lineup in just a second, just to remind you if you joined us late. As the ball comes forward now in towards the penalty area, but it's going to be kept in by Ali and hooked away by Trent Alexander-Arnold. So it's Alisson, Alexander-Arnold, Matip, Van Dijk, Robertson, Henderson, Fabinho, Wijnaldum, Salah, who scored the penalty, Firmino and Mane, the Liverpool starters, and starters of the second half on the bench. Mignolet, Keller, who's the other goalkeeper, Lovren, Milner, Gomez, Sturridge, Moreno, Lallana, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Shaqiri, Ryan Brewster and Divock Origi. And there are the squads now as we reconvene. Here is Harry Kane, who only had 11 touches alone in the first half, and that was a better cross, and Son just didn't quite pick it up. And we can confirm that the pitch invader was in fact Vitaly Jordanovsky, who's a Russian YouTube personality, and apparently I think it's a she that comes from Los Angeles. Russ described it as a she. We'll just get confirmation whether that is a he or a she. Let's hope it's a she. Please tell us, Russ. Please tell us if you could. But Vitaly Zokhodovsky, Russian-American. What is she doing here? Well, we'll check out her YouTube channel later on, I think. That'll be an interesting watch. I wonder if she's filmed the whole thing herself. Well, we've had just shy of 3 minutes of the second half, and it's Spurs 0 still, Liverpool 1 in this European Cup final of 2019. And of course, after 65 minutes, as we do for all our live matches, we're either on here at this moment in time or normally on YouTube, we have a JB MLTM man of the match, of course, where you guys get to pick who wins man of the match. I'll have to check her out too. Oh, good. It's always even in the pressure of a final, there's always time for a good sense of humour. I love it, and it's nice to see the humour coming to our broadcasts, and we always try and use our broadcasts as a good way of getting into our sense of humour across. Right. Anyway, back to the game. Oh, I'm in kittens with that comment from Mike. Oh, dear me. And of course, anyone who's not tuned in yet, where are you? Where are you all tonight? I've left links in every description you could think of. Come on, give us a shout out. And of course, this will be replayed on YouTube. Recorded video only. Of course, we're banned from doing live streams for 90 days, so we won't be showing any or doing any live commentaries on there until the next season, which will be able to bring you games. We'll be able to bring you the Community Shield and one or two of the start of the games, Premier League games, here on Twitch, and then we'll switch back to YouTube on the 28th of August onwards, hopefully until the end, and hopefully we'll have no more intrusions from Indian companies until the end of the next particular season, where Harry Kane has just been fouled by Ronaldo. Yeah, interesting. Harry Kane, I was making the point during the first half that he hasn't had much of the game. In fact, he's only had 11 touches in the first half. He's had a few more since the start of the second half, which is now coming up towards 5 minutes gone, and Spurs fans starting to make some noise there down away to my left hand side. Spurs could do with the next goal. Trippier out behind this one. Remember, he scored that free kick for England as he chips that ball into the penalty area. Well, cutting down, the shot coming in, and then it was charged away. Now, what's the referee giving here? I think it's a free kick to Liverpool. I think. I just thought for a moment that it might have been a handball, which in fact it's an offside there against. It might have been. I'm just trying to check who it might have been. It might have been Son actually who made the initial break. It might have been Dele Alli actually, but either one of the two. They look similar sort of players anyway. We're hard to tell which we're not blessed with the best angle where we are, so it's very difficult to make out. But Harry Kane really hasn't sparkled. First game for 7 weeks. It's always difficult. He has been training a lot. You could tell he was fully fit in the semi-final when he ran it onto the pitch when Spurs had actually snuck their way past Ajax into the final. It was a devastating blow for Ajax. I believe have been one of the teams of the tournament, because I honestly think they were very unlucky not to win that night. And I agree, Mike. I don't think he looks 100% at the moment, but they're having to risk him. Last game of the season. But here's Eriksen, played it out towards the far side. A big opportunity now. Oh! And Spurs just starting to turn up the power a little bit. Just for one moment then, they were breaking into the penalty area. And it was a good run there by Harry Winks. But it was well checked away by the Liverpool defence. But Kane does not look his old self at the moment. 240 passes to Liverpool's 115. The pass accuracy has been quite good from Spurs actually. 80%. Liverpool's 68%. So their passing could be a bit more crisper. But they won't care, Liverpool. They're 1-0 up. And that's all that matters to them at the moment. But if we're picking nits, their passing must be a lot better and a lot crisper than what it has been. Here's Alexander-Arnold, right hand side. That's a better ball towards Salah, and he couldn't grow enough there, but Mane's kept it in by the far corner quadrant. Liverpool aren't finished at this point yet, and it's in towards the penalty area. Ronaldo has to go back out to Bobby Firmino, and Liverpool now having to just attack out. Fabinho lining up a shot from all of 25 yards, a little deflection which made it awkward for Luis to gather the ball in, and in the end did that competently there, the Tottenham captain. Lifted the World Cup, of course, for France last summer, you might remember. Looking to do the same, lift the big ears, which of course is the nickname or the name for the European Cup trophy, a beautiful silver trophy with the huge handles, of course, known as well, big ears, as Salah goes forward inside the penalty area, gets his shot off, and a good bit of defending there by Vertonghen, as it turned out, for Spurs. Henderson is still on the right hand side, back in field to Fabinho. Now Liverpool starting to rock and roll again. Andy Robertson thought about the shot, he's got it in left footed towards Mane, and well taken on the edge of the 6-yard line by Hugo Lloris, who's been assured in his goalkeeping tonight. The French international, very experienced campaigner, of course. Been there, seen it, done it. Won the World Cup winners' medal, of course, last summer for France when they beat Croatia in that magnificent final, you may remember, in Russia. As Spurs look for an equaliser straight away, and it was a chance there for Ali inside the penalty area. And Joe Matip got back there, or Robert Van Dijk got back there and made a fantastic challenge. Matip clears for Liverpool whilst all that was going on, and that was a great chance there for Dele Alli to level the count there for Spurs in this European Cup final. And Spurs having a good spell of the game. We've had 9 minutes of the second half. It's still 1-0 to Liverpool. That goal in the second minute of the first half by Mo Salah. It has been a bit of a slow tempo. Mind you, the weather conditions will not allow it to be as fast paced as it should have been. Here's Danny Rose now. Oh, and he's fouled there. The referee, I think, is playing on. No foul, is it? As Eriksson plays the ball in. I think Rose might have been going over before contact was made. Rose is staked down on the near side, on the left hand side. Now, be interesting to see whether Rose tried to calm the referee or not. Let's have a look on the replay. He's away from Alexander-Arnold. Oh, he's diving before he's made contact there with Alexander-Arnold. I think that is a good decision by the referee, and I honestly believe that's a fantastic decision. So we see that cross there from Robertson into the 6-yard area. And, Lloris was very assured, and then the Salah shot well stopped by Jan Vertonghen. And then the other chance there for, I think it was Fabinho, that got a deflection and it was easy in the end for Hugo Lloris, and we've still got Rose down there, but well, Mike, he's probably bang on with his comment here. Good decision, but if you're playing by the letter of the law, that is a yellow card, and I think he's quite right. Remember in the Burnley-Southampton game when Ashley Barnes, you may remember, in the first half of that game got booked for diving, when he was clearly taken out by Alex McCarthy in the Saints goal, you may remember, and he got a yellow card for it. And I just never understood the referee's geography at the time there, the referee, and it was Anthony Taylor who was the man in the middle. I seem to recall that particular afternoon. One of the worst decisions I think I've ever seen so far this season. There's been quite a number of very iffy refereeing decisions, but not too many iffy refereeing, and Spurs have the possession again. And this time Son has possession. He's got Ali and Kane to his left if he can get the ball across. And he can't, but he's done the next best thing and has yielded a corner for Tottenham. 11.5 minutes gone in the second half. Still 1-0, but Spurs now starting to turn up the power here on Liverpool a little bit. And Spurs, I suspect, are now building up a head of steam, looking for this equalising goal, which will take it to 1-1. Eriksson to take the corner, is it? No. Here comes the corner though from the far side. It's a deep one. Alisson gets a good fist on it, but only as far as Rose, who has the shot, gets another deflection. It will be another Spurs corner. Second in succession. Came off Mo Salah, the scorer of the only goal after 2 minutes from the penalty spot. Danny Rose going over to the near side quadrant to take. Left hand quadrant. So Rose steps up. Will strike it left footed into the penalty area. Floats it into the deep in there towards the back post. Header one at the back post and over the top. And a goal kick. It was Jan Vertonghen who got up to not try and nod it goalwards, but he headed it far too high and it was over the top. Right, we're going to see a change here for Liverpool, and we're going to see Bobby Firmino, and he doesn't really look himself tonight. He's been a bit quiet as well, along with Harry Kane, but he might still be picking up a winner's medal as things stand here as he goes off. And Divock Origi, who was one of the heroes of that semi-final comeback, you may recall, against Barcelona, which we brought you live on the JB Clark YouTube channel. One of the best games I've ever commentated on in 3 years of live commentary here, and this will be replayed on YouTube as a recording later on in the next few days. So for those who couldn't get onto Twitch to listen to this, you'll be able to hear it back on YouTube as the boys lay back to Hugo Lloris rather. Right, so Divock Origi now on for the remainder of the game. Probably play more centrally now, but it's Liverpool still with that penalty after 2 minutes. It was the right decision to give the penalty. The referee was right on the spot, and the penalty tucked away by Mo Salah. And Lloris, he struck it with ferocity, but if he'd have struck that with a little less power, I think Hugo Lloris might have saved it. But doesn't matter how you strike it, as long as it goes in the back of the net. That's all that counted for Liverpool on that particular moment. There's a long ball up towards Kane, who just doesn't really look fit at all, if I'm being honest, and the game has really passed him by really today. As I said at the start of the second half, they were making the point in the television punditry that 11 touches on the heat map, which is quite extraordinary for a player of Harry Kane's capabilities. England captain, of course, and England will need him on song in the Nations Cup. Of course, they've got Portugal in the semi-final there over in Portugal, so it's going to be a bit partisan there. Ronaldo will hopefully be fit for Portugal. He's not had his best scoring season for Juventus, as that one ball is knocked away there towards Mo Salah. Origi and Alderweireld just challenging there. Now Sissoko to take it up for Tottenham, and looks as if we're going to see James Milner on at some point. It's not been a particularly great final in terms of entertainment, but remember, you've got to take into account the weather conditions at the start of the game. It was sunny, 30 degrees Celsius. It's probably dropped a few degrees now. It's got a little bit darker. The humidity is about 15% humidity. Here's Eriksen now. Right footed shot. Oh, it's hit his own player. It's hit Harry Kane, and I think that might have been going into the left-hand corner of the net, the bottom left-hand corner, until it hit Harry Kane. It was travelling, that shot from Eriksen, and the ball then played back in, and it's been, I'm afraid, knocked behind for a corner. Pochettino has taken his suit off, was taking his jacket off. He's rolled up his sleeves, and Liverpool not taking too much time. And as Russ quite rightly says, our man on the know has decided that as is the case, and it will be Milner coming on an experienced campaign that started his career at Leeds, went on to Newcastle, went on to win a lot of honours with Manchester City, moved on to Liverpool, and he's going to win the world's greatest football prize at the moment as things stand. It's Gini Ronaldo. He's not had too much of a say in this match tonight either. There's been one or two players where we've probably thought that might have expected it, but very, very disappointing in this final. I thought the Europa final as a spectacle was a lot better than this one, really. I know there's a lot at stake, but when you compare this final to what we saw on Monday between Aston Villa and Derby, it is, as a spectacle, very disappointing. Anyway, Ronaldo is coming off, so obviously Russ's prophecies were right. We've had 62 minutes now, almost of the final. Liverpool still leading for that second minute goal from Mo Salah. It seems a heck of a long time ago as Salah tries to play Sadio Mane on the far side. And here's Dele Alli, but the referee is blown for a free kick to Liverpool, just about on halfway. So that's been from a neutral's point of view, it has been a massively disappointing. Disappointing, really, but I suppose you can't have it always. I suppose, in some respects. But it's still been a good watch. It's still been a decent watch. Anyway, here's Divock Origi. Origi doing really well, but Danny Rose does well. Shepherds him away, and that's going to be a goal kick for Tottenham. Well, they've got about 27 minutes plus stoppage time to really save themselves from being beaten here. Remember, they're appearing in their very first final. Liverpool appearing in their 9th. They've won 5. As Trippier now gets, the Tongan Robber gets the ball. And Alderweireld turns nicely. Plays the ball in there, back from Winks. And here's Winks again from the pass by Danny Rose. Tries to lay the ball in there towards Son, but back came Virgil van Dijk. Cost Liverpool the best part of almost £80 million a year and a half ago. Probably the best £80 million they'll ever spend in the club's history. What a colossus he has been for Liverpool this last 18 months or so. And Salah was surely fouled there. Referee not interested. I thought that was a clear foul. Referee not interested. I think that might be controversial if Tottenham were to score here. Scored a pretty much an illegal goal against Burnley, of course, some 2 or 3 months back. And Danny Rose took a throw in about 10 yards away from the original throw in should have been taken from. Spurs lost that game, of course, 2-1, and went on to miss out. On the league that day. Yes, 1 English player in the final, Maitland-Niles, and 8 today, 5 from Spurs, and 3 of course from Liverpool in the starting 11. Of course, James Milner has since come on, and Fabinho has been fouled just inside his own half, about 5 yards away from halfway, and free kick for Liverpool. We're going to see a Tottenham substitution here. Looks like Lucas Moura is going to be replacing Harry Winks, we're told by Russ, who's our mole down on the pitch. Our mole on the pitch. Hope you don't mind that phrase, Russ. As we go past the 65th minute mark now of this final, coming up towards halfway mark, and we'll certainly hit that around about the 67th minute mark. And of course the votes now, because we're now into the 65th minute, we have votes now, and as predicted, Winks is replaced by Moura. Just to remind you, JB Man of the Match, your name or your player, please, that you want to see win our supplementary award, and hashtag it with the hashtag JBMOTM, please. And you've got until from now until the 90th minute to cast your votes. If he's always on the pitch, he's certainly got the best view of the girl coming on, Russ Cam. Now that would be interesting. Yes, Russ Cam. I think we should hashtag that. Russ to get his own camera on pitch side. That would be amazing. That could work, mate. That could actually work. Anyway, back to the game, and it's Alisson kicking away, the Brazilian goalkeeper. Danny Rose is the first vote from our man in the know, Russ Vernon. So Danny Rose, who's at the moment on the losing side. But here's Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's had a great game as the cross comes in, and it's turned away by Alderweireld for a corner. Hashtag Ruscam. We're looking to add new features to our coverage next season, including commentary camera, where you'll be able to see me in vision commentating on some of the action next season. So we might make that as a bonus to you once our YouTube coverage is back up and running on the 27th of August. Anyway, corner kick then to Liverpool. 1-up as Alexander-Arnold crosses in, and that's probably one of his worst corners I think he's taken all night long. Liverpool get a throw in inside in line with the edge of the 18-yard box of Spurs, so they're not finished yet by any means. It's a round attack for them. We're coming up towards the halfway point of the second half. Throwing taken. Milner was onside as that throwing was taken, was he? Yes, he was. Another Liverpool throw-in, almost from the same side. And Liverpool now looking to make it pay here against Spurs. No handball as that ball was chipped in, and that goes behind for a goal kick to Tottenham. So we're past the 67th minute mark. We're now into the final portion of the game, final quarter of the match. Halfway through the second half, and it's still 1-0. That second minute goal from Liverpool, that penalty scored after 2 minutes by Mohamed Salah, is the difference. Kane has not looked at all like adding to his 25 in all competitions, and Mike making the man of the match, even though they're not playing out there tonight. Twitch for keeping the stream on, and Twitch, thank you very much for accommodating us to this evening. You can listen to the game back on here for 14 days afterwards, after which the video will leave, but we will put the full match commentary again, as I say, back on YouTube as a recording and not as a live stream, of course, because we're banned from obviously live streaming. As Sadio Mane comes forward into Salah, alright, and the shot from Milner just goes well wide of the right hand post, and that would have put Liverpool in complete control as Mane made the original break. Lovely play this from Liverpool, very rare attack from them, and this really was a good run, cutting south from the right, and there's the shot left footed, and it was a terrific hit from James Milner. Now that would have been a special moment for him, the Englishman, and Liverpool so close to going 2 goals into the lead. It would have been a little bit undeserved, as of course with regards to the balance of play, of course, as far as Spurs are concerned, but Spurs really just haven't done enough for me really in that final third to possibly warrant being level in this match, and that's probably going to be the difference. And it might be that one moment of madness at the start there from Sissoko that cost Spurs dearly, but here's Harry Kane picking it up now. Remember, his first match for 7 weeks since he did his ligaments against Manchester City in that first leg at the new White Hart Lane. Well, as they call it now, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I would rather call it White Hart Lane, because I'm a traditionalist at heart. The new White Hart Lane. Still 1-0 to Liverpool. There was an appeal for a handball which wasn't given. Well, you've got to have eyes in your back of the head in this final, I tell you. Well, they've got just 20.5 minutes left to play this final, and Spurs need to score in that time to at least force half an hour more. And this final, of course, has to be decided tonight, either through 90 minutes, extra time, and maybe even penalties. But if we get that far, we will have a we'll explain penalties. But here comes Spurs there, and nobody gambling in the 6-yard area for the cross coming in. It still might come for Spurs here with Rose to the back post. Still might drop here. Trippier now needs to be a good cross. It's poor one's too close to Alisson. Where was Harry Kane? He should have been gambling inside the 6-yard area for me. He went near post. Trippier's now pulled a muscle, and now Mo Salah down the other end on the right hand side. The game becoming a little stretch, and it's Salah now into the penalty area, cutting from the right. The ball getting a little deflection. Mane's onto it. Good tackle there, and a Larry last by Vertonghen, hooking it out for a throw in. But there we had 2 opportunities inside. What a minute. And now players starting to go down with cramp, it looks like. Well, the humid and hot conditions not helping the players out there. Both teams have had trying seasons, both physically and mentally. Both have played a lot of games. Both teams, of course, had early exits from the FA Cup. Liverpool lost, you may remember, the Wolves in the 3rd round back in January, and Spurs, we saw on this channel, we saw on the JB Claret YouTube channel, go out the FA Cup to Crystal Palace in the 4th round, and that was the opportunity for Mane at the other end. And Mane showing some little tricks and flicks there to get away from one or two of the players. That was to set up the goal. Travelling in the car for £40. They're going back in. They are going back in it. Oh well, I'd have thought that, and but the travel costs, I have to say, from some of the airlines, just taking football supporters is absolutely ridiculous. I think EasyJet or the big travel firms should have done a football discount or something. These fans, this is certainly for the Spurs lot, because it's their first time they've been in a European Cup final, and you know they've certainly turned up in their droves. But at the moment it's Liverpool winning the game. I tell you what, Lloris was playing a little dangerous game there with Mo Salah reaming down his neck there. And here's Rose now on the left hand side for Spurs, still inside their own half. And this really is now going to be, next goal will surely decide it, or put it back in their balance, as Origi tries to get on the end of that one, and Salah as well. But Lloris was careful there. Eric Dyer apparently going to come on for Sissoko in a short while, according to Mike. He's got there ahead of Russ. Here's Son now inside the area. Ali trying to curl one. Oh, I thought it was sailing in, but I think it might have been a little deflection which took the sting out of the effort. And in the end, it was actually quite a comfortable save for Alisson there, as Dele Alli tries to flip it. He's tried to flip it, and goalkeeper of Alisson's world-class abilities, he's never, ever in a million years going to be fooled by anything like that. That's how he's made his reputation, playing magnificently for Roma last season. He was bought for quite a lot of money, £70 million he cost. And apparently Eric Dyer has now come on. We'll get that substitution now confirmed. Dyer is about to come on as I speak to you right now, and it's this as well, as Mike quite rightly illustrates. Again, both Russ and Mike have been very good on the prophecies at the moment, so credit to them. But at the moment it's still 1-0 to Liverpool, that second minute goal, and really in truth, you're looking at it from a mutual's point of view, it's livened up a bit in the second half. Spurs have had a few good opportunities, Liverpool have had a chance or two as well, so in theory the second half has been probably far better as a spectacle than the first half has been, but it's still a disappointing final when you look at it over the 74 minutes that we've been playing so far, and that's what we've had so far. 16 minutes left to play, and they need to score in that time, otherwise it's Liverpool's European Cup for the 6th time. And it's been confirmed that Sissoko is now been replaced by another England international, Eric Dyer. Well, Spurs have just got just over a quarter of an hour plus stoppage time to save their dreams of winning this European Cup for the first time. And Liverpool now just starting to tire a little bit. The heat is really taking it out, but it's been given away now. And here's Andy Robertson, who's had a superb match. Danny Rose still leading the man of the match vote, by the way. You can still make a difference. Here's Salah chipping that one in there towards the penalty area. Divock Origi challenging for the second ball on the edge of the Spurs area, but it's come away now. Lucas Moura now to Dele Alli, on to Son. Kane up to his left. Son will run at the defenders. It's Son into the penalty area. He's going all the way, but what a tackle that was by Virgil van Dijk. Surely that is worth the £80 million that Liverpool stumped up to pay for him. And that certainly, that's a huge chunk of the fee paid off there in one full swoop. Here's Kane into the area. Kane will get a second chance to cross. Kane gets the cross in. It's a poor cross, headed away once again by Virgil van Dijk. He's again had his usual consistently good game. Mr. Consistency, Virgil van Dijk. That's missed though. Here's Son now. Spurs have a chance, but they're offside. It's offside against Son. Offside. Son is complaining, but he's not going to change his mind, the referee. And there is a lot of frustration in Son's face, that is for certain, as that ball came in. Oh, did it hit his arm? It might have hit his arm, actually. It wasn't offside. I think it was off his arm, but once again, Son making a great break. But look at Virgil van Dijk there. As we saw there on the replay, he was absolutely immense at the back, and that's the way he's been all night. He's been first rate throughout this final. Still coming up now inside the last 14 minutes. We've had 76 minutes of this final played. Still that second minute goal from Salah. The difference between these two Premier League outfits. Both are definitely in the Champions League next season. Who will go there into the next year's competition as the official holders of the competition? At the moment, as things stand, it's Liverpool, that second minute goal. But Virgil van Dijk has had a marvellous game. There's no doubt about that. A long ball forward there, up towards Dele Alli. But once again, Alisson, not fooled by that. Perfectly positioned, took the ball cleanly and has thrown the ball out to the right-hand side. Here's James Milner. Into Trent Alexander-Arnold. A loser last year, but on course to be a winner this year. We saw a great European Cup final. Plenty of controversy. I thought Liverpool were robbed a bit, but when you see a guy like Gareth Bale hit a superb overhead kick like we saw 12 months ago, that was some match. It was some game. But tonight it's not really lived up to its billing. But at the moment, Liverpool don't care. That the stats show that they're winning the European Cup, or the scoreline shows they're winning the European Cup. But Spurs will feel that they should be at least level in this final, as Alderweireld comes forward, goes to halfway. He finds Dele Alli. Dele Alli has to turn. He has Danny Rose on the left hand side as an overlap. Here's Eriksen taking it up. Now he finds Danny Rose. Rose now for Spurs. Still 1-0 down. They need an equaliser now in the next 12 and a quarter minutes. Plus any stoppage time if they're to take this to extra time. At the moment it's Liverpool's European Cup as we talk to you right now here in Madrid. But it's still Spurs could take it. 12 minutes left. And here's Ali now touching it on to Rose. Rose trying to dart away. Here's Harry Kane. Boy, do Tottenham need something from him now. Plays a long ball out towards the far side, and it's been well played here now. Trippier needs to be a good cross, and it is a good one towards Dele Alli from 6 yards. And he goes over the top of the crossbar, and Virgil van Dijk is Mike's choice for man of the match. If anyone's joined us late, JBMLTM, name of your player, like Mike's just done there. JBMLTM hashtag and the name of your player. It doesn't matter which order you do it in, as long as you get both in, it's not a problem. If you could put the name of your player first and then hashtag it, or you can hashtag it and put the name of the player. As long as you do either or in whatever order, it counts as a vote. So 1 vote for Danny Rose, 1 vote for Virgil van Dijk, and if it's level after the 90 minutes, I get the casting vote. And at the moment, I would probably plump for Mike's choice at the moment. But here's Son now for Spurs. 8 attempts for Spurs, 11 for Liverpool. Just the 3 shots on target, 1 for Tottenham, 2 for Liverpool. The one of them being that penalty in the second minute by Mohamed Salah. And that is the difference at the moment, as we go inside the final 11 minutes of the European Cup final, an all Premier League final to decide who's going to be champions in Europe. At the moment, it's Liverpool who are winning the European Cup final. A slender lead, but here's Dele Alli to Son, 25 yards from goal. Hits a right-footed shot, good save by Alisson. Alisson with a superb save. Still not over yet. Shot comes in from Lucas Moura inside the area, and he hits it straight at Alisson. And there were the chances that Spurs have been craving all night long. Son with a 25-yard cracker, forcing the save from Alisson, and then from the crossing from the left-hand side, Lucas Moura, unmarked, turns, and he hits it straight at the goalkeeper. That was the big chance that Spurs have been looking for all night long. And Alisson proving his worth to the Liverpool cause. 10 minutes to play. Still 1-0 to Liverpool. That second minute penalty from Mo Salah. Llorenti's going to come on for Dele Alli, we're told. This is Son again. Son shoots, and this time he doesn't hit it cleanly with his left foot, and it rolls very, very slowly into the arms of Alisson, who bowls the ball out. Alisson Becker to give him his full Sunday name. As the ball comes forward, and it's hooked back, and that's surely out of play there from the pass back there by was it Vertonghen? Probably was. It's a corner anyway to Liverpool regardless. But these were the opportunities that Spurs were crying out for. Good right footed shot from Son, who was struck with some ferocity, and then Lucas Moura there. If it gets it either side of the goalkeeper, that's 1 apiece. But that's a marvellous save from Son. It's a little bit towards him actually, straight at him, but I think Lucas Moura should score for me there from the second opportunity, and I think the Spurs fans absolutely know it for sure. Dele Alli has come off apparently, and Llorente is now on, as Mike prophesied, and that is now been confirmed by UEFA. So we've got about we've played 81.5 minutes, and the ball is not quite on the corner quadrant, and I have to say it's just slightly touching the corner quadrant. James Milner sarcastically making that point. Now it's on the quadrant now, is it? Anyway, the referees and the assistants are happy enough, and it's James Milner now after that little intrusion with the corner. Comes out as far as Salah on the edge of the area, chips the ball into the penalty area, but doesn't cue it as well as he would. And it looks as if Kane will now play the full 90. I suppose with the Nations League, I'm surprised that they played the full 90. I mean, his fitness will come into question now, but with this Nations League knockout stage now, knockout finals, of course the semi-finals and finals played over a 4-day period. Semi-finals taking place I think on the Wednesday and the Thursday next week, and then the final a couple of weeks on Sunday. The third place match takes place on the Sunday afternoon, with the final itself being played on Sunday evening. Will England be there or not? Big question there. And then Euro 2020 next summer. Hopefully we'll bring you in full on the JB Claret YouTube channel. As Rose goes in the area, it goes down now. The referee's got a decision to make. Was that in or out? I think it was probably, well, they're just checking it with VAR. The VAR now, was it in or out? If it was in, Spurs may get a penalty ordered. Harry Kane making the point that it's inside. Headed away there by Alexander Arnold. Oh, I can't tell from that angle. Ooh, it's just on the, I don't know. I think it's probably outside the box. But it was very perilously close there. Milner found him just near on the line. And it was about an inch practically, because if it was on the line, that counts as inside the box. Because if there's a foul takes place on any part of the 18-yard line, that is construed as a penalty. Spurs an inch away from being ordered a penalty. They've got a free kick ordered, and it's Eriksen over this one. Referee's not happy about the positioning of the wall. He's making it perfectly clear to the two-man commit wall there, and this is not helping Christian Eriksen in any way. Here the referees have been a little bit fussy on this. It's to the left of the penalty area. What an opportunity now for Tottenham with 6 minutes left, just over to go. Now the referee's not happy. There's pushing and shoving. Just let them get on with it. I don't like these referees when they start being fussy. It's not helping Spurs at all as Eriksen takes the free kick, and a good one too, and it's turned away brilliantly by Alisson, diving away to his left-hand side. It was a terrific free kick. And I suppose Alisson Becker might just be in the reckoning for the JB Man of the Match award. I'd probably plug for him. But at the moment, we've got a vote each for Danny Rose and for Virgil van Dijk at the moment. And that's a marvellous save, diving away to his right-hand side. But Spurs running out of time, but they're in the ascendancy here as this corner comes in. Far side, and a chance, it's on the area. Oh, it's over! It's over from 2 yards. It was Son! Son was in there at the back post. Mara got the first header on the 6-yard line, and I think Son from about 2 yards out has missed it, but I think the flag was up for offside anyway. So Ross has taken the excitement out of it a little bit, but it was the right decision, to be fair, from the Slovakians. And that was going in, that free kick from Eriksen. It was a clever free kick, and Alisson actually proving his worth once again. Is it going to be Pochettino's night? I don't think he's going to go back to Tottenham in the sunset. 5 to play. And it's still 1-0. Alisson, who's had a marvellous second half. It's been a much better watch this second half than the first actually was. But still, that second minute penalty is the difference. But it's been a better final, and Spurs have come to the party. But maybe those missed chances, as Danny Rose has to nod that behind his own byline for a corner. Couldn't take chances with Salah right behind him. Andy Robertson again with another wicked cross in from the left. He's had a decent game. Well, we got a vote yet. I think we might have to plump for Virgil van Dijk. There might have been it came off his shoulder, but the referee, I suppose, was blindside as a corner comes in. And Alderweireld is receiving treatment here. It's still 1-0. I wonder if Mike's in front of us on the live streaming at the moment. But anyway, here comes the corner to be taken by James Milner. Play will be played into the penalty area. Will it, or will he go short? Now it looks as if he's going to shape up to float one. Referee just making sure that everything is okay. Alderweireld is on the field. Now can Liverpool finish it off in the grand manner with the second goal, as the ball is just on the near side quadrant as that corner comes into the area. Flick towards the back post. Spurs trying to deal with it. And the ball comes out, and it's Divock Origi who shoots. It's got in the right side corner, and it's punished Spurs for those missed chances. It does come against the run of the play, but Divock Origi once again, he's a hero. He was the hero in the semi-finals against Barcelona. He's another hero now, and Liverpool, barring accidents, are going to be champions of Europe for the 6th time in their history. To add to victories in 1977, 1978, 1981, 1984 and 2005. Spurs are not happy. They may have thought there might have been a possibility of a handball in the build-up. But Liverpool don't care. They're going to be European champions. And Spurs fans, I see they're crying. The red smoke bomb's gone off. Away to my right-hand side. Here comes the corner. Was there a possibility of a handball there against one of the Liverpool lads? Well, it doesn't matter now, as that shot from Divock Origi to the left of the penalty spot goes in past the outstretched hand of Hugo Lloris and into the right-hand corner. Well, let's just see whether there was a foul there in the build-up. I don't know. But what's not in doubt is the ball in the back of the Spurs net for a second time, and it's Spurs, so a 2-0 down. And I feel a little bit sorry for Spurs. That looked a bit of an awkward challenge there by Danny Rose as that ball comes in and the header flicked on and wide by Llorente inside the penalty area. It just wasn't going to be Spurs night, and you just felt, I think, that chance really for Lucas Moura when Son had his shot saved initially from 25 yards. If that goes in, it's extra time. But the game's going to be run after 90 minutes. Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp's going to get his first trophy, his maiden trophy as Liverpool manager. He's been in charge of this club for nearly 3 years now, and it's going to be Liverpool's name on the European Cup. Was there a foul there by Van Dijk in the build-up? Well, I'm not sure. But what's not in doubt is the second Liverpool goal, and that settles it. And Spurs will be praying that they get about 6 or 7 minutes of stoppage time to see if they can get back in this game. I very much doubt it at this stage. But Liverpool, well, they probably don't deserve to win by 2-0 on balance of play, but Divock Origi, what a unlikely hero he's been. He scored the winning goal earlier on in the season in that peculiar winning goal in the Merseyside derby when Pickford left it. Oh, let's just wait a minute, because Vertonghen has got back there and it's headed back to Hugo Lloris there by Alderweireld. Joe Gomez is now on for Sadio Mane. I think that's a defensive substitution now. Gomez, who got injured at Burnley over Christmas, or just before Christmas, and the ball tried to lay forward, but we've got 5 added minutes. I'm not sure whether 5 minutes was sufficient enough. I don't know where he got 5 minutes from. He's trying to tot up the substitutions. They don't come up to 5 minutes in my opinion, but there we go. Anyway, here's Kane for Llorente winning the ball for Spurs, but he's run it straight there, and a long ball forward. It's hit a defender. So it looks as if Jordan Henderson is going to join a very exclusive club of Liverpool captains. Emily Hughes lifting the cup twice in 77 and 78. Phil Thompson lifted it in Madrid in 81. Souness in Rome in 84. And, of course, Steven Gerrard in 2005 in that Istanbul Classic. Liverpool were close last year, and maybe the experience of defeat 12 months ago stood them in good stead. They needed snookers in that second leg, you may recall, against Barcelona, but one thing you can't take away from them, they've been superb all year long. And here's Harry Kane now. Can Spurs hit back in the grand manner? Kane goes down, referee winks about it, doesn't give it. I think they can revert it to VAR, Tottenham. And I don't think it was. I'm not sure if it was a penalty. I'd like to see a replay of it. It'll be interesting to see what VAR made of that one, as they do make decisions on the spot. It is a corner now to Spurs, and Kane is asking the question, was this a penalty? Well, there is contact there. I think that's a penalty, but the JB VAR says no. But there was contact. But you have seen those given in the Premier League. Anyway, Spurs have a corner, looking to try and make it a grandstand finish. If they can get a goal here, it would certainly give it a grandstand finish. Here's Danny Rose, left foot, strikes it straight into the arms of the goalkeeper, who's played magnificently well, Alisson. We've had 2 of the 5 minutes gone, and it still remains Tottenham 0, Liverpool 2. But you feel for Tottenham in some respects, because they have played really well without any reward, but Alisson has probably been the man of the match. We haven't picked a winner for man of the match yet, so we're going to go. I'm going to go with the suggestion that Virgil van Dijk gets the man of the match award. But special mention to Alisson, who probably gets the joint of one. Meanwhile, oh, good effort from Son. Again, Alisson making himself a hero. I'm going to give a joint man in a match, I think, and I'm going to give it one. Well, obviously, we're going to go with a majority for Virgil van Dijk, but I'm also going to give it also jointly to Alisson, who's had a marvellous second half and has made world-class save after world-class save as the Spurs corner comes in from the far side and he's headed away. Now Danny Rose. We've had 3 of the 5 minutes, so it's a joint match. As the ball goes into the penalty area, there's the shot from Kane, straight into the arms of the keeper. Well, I don't think... well, I know Mike understandably doesn't feel for Spurs. As a neutral, you do feel for them a bit, but obviously Mike's obviously naturally going to feel that way because he's an Arsenal fan and Spurs are their great, deadly rivals, of course. Right, we've had way over the halfway mark of the 5 minutes. In fact, we've played 3 of the 5. We've got about 1 minute and 40 to go of the 5. Spurs still... Well, they need 2 goals and probably about 8 snookers if they're going to force extra time in this European Cup final. Liverpool nearly there now. Their 6th European Cup is going to be established. But Alisson really made a call. I had to go obviously with Danny Rose. A brave choice by Russ, but he made it quite early on in the second half, of course. But I have to say, I agree with Mike with Virgil van Dijk and Alisson. What those 2 players, as much as it's cost Liverpool, and they've spent big in getting those 2 players to come to the club, I think they have worked wonders for Liverpool this season, and that's been the difference why they've won something this season. And well, at least they can claim something that City haven't got. City might have the domestic treble, but Liverpool are going to trump the lot of them. All the trophies that City have won because they're going to be champions of Europe. And here's Divock Origi, and the flag has stayed down, and it's Mo Salah on the right hand side. Liverpool now trying to finish with a flourish here at the end of this European Cup final. Back inside to Origi, chips it forward towards Salah, but he's overhit that and it's out of play for a goal kick. And we've got about 30 seconds off the 5 remaining, and it's going to be Liverpool's European Cup. We'll get straight to the reaction. Any interviews before the trophy left, we'll bring you to you live here on this live Twitch stream here on the JB Claret channel. We've got about 10 seconds of stoppage time remaining, and I should also stress it was a minimum of 5. Solinka could play a bit further on, but I think 4 seconds left. It's all over! It's all over just before the 5th minute of stoppage time, and the Liverpool substitutes run on as one and mob everybody in red. It's Liverpool's European Cup. Spurs give it a good go in the second half. They really didn't turn up in the first, really. But in the second half, they gave it a really good go, but found Alisson Becker in superb form in the Liverpool goals. Van Dijk had a magnificent game at the back. And it's Liverpool who win the European Cup again for the 6th time in their history. And Jordan Henderson, a Sunderland man born and bred, is going to become part of Liverpool folklore because he's going to join the late great Emily Hughes, who lifted the trophy in Rome and at Wembley in 77 and 78. Phil Thompson, who lifted the trophy in Paris in 1981. Graham Souness in Rome in 84 lifted the trophy after a penalty shootout win over Roma. And then Steven Gerrard, who's in the crowd tonight, and he's got a big beaming smile, the current Rangers manager. He lifted the trophy last time. 14 years of hurt is over for Liverpool. They are champions of Europe, and Jurgen Klopp wins his first major trophy as a Liverpool manager. And the wait goes on for Harry Kane and for Tottenham Hotspur. Kane just didn't get into the game at all tonight. In truth, the game really passed him by, and he looked like a man who hasn't had a proper game in 7 whole weeks. But the Spurs fans cheering their team to the very last, and that's good to see from them. As I said, they gave it a good goal to Spurs in the second half, but as I said, Son had chances. The best chance really fell at 1-1 to 1-0 to Lucas Moura inside the area, virtually unmarked, and had more time than I think he had, and he hit it straight down Alisson's throat, and that maybe was Spurs' best chance, falling absolutely and utterly by the wayside. But the winners are Liverpool. They scored the 2 goals that mattered. A penalty that was ordered after 2 minutes for a crazy handball in the area by by Sissoko in the area. Calmly dispatched by Mo Salah. Terrific penalty by him. And then the second goal from Divock Origi in the last 4 minutes of normal time were enough to see Liverpool over the finishing tape and their 6th European Cup. We're waiting to get some reaction. As soon as we get that reaction, we'll bring it to you live here on the JB Correct channel, Twitch channel. I nearly said YouTube. You'll be able to hear that game back on the YouTube channel, of course, recorded. But I have to say, the Spurs fans, though, they're cheering their side to a man, and fair play to them. They are a fair-minded bunch. And the Spurs players will hurt, but they'll be better for the experience, I think, because Liverpool 12 months ago were in that same position, as Jordan Henderson will appreciate. They were beaten by a wonder goal, you may remember, from Gareth Bale, and they came back this year. Had to do it the hard way in that semi-final, of course, at Anfield against Barcelona, but Liverpool just had that bit more finishing prowess in the final third. And Salah and Origi's goals. Divock Origi, what a hero he's proved to be over the last few weeks of the season. I feel a bit sorry for Kieran Trippier, a man I've sort of followed his career through his days at Burnley. He's an ex-Claret and I wanted him to do so well, but at the end of the day you can't take away the quality of Liverpool. Two of the heroes now are talking with Des Kelly. Okay, Des. they were gonna have an interview with Des Kelly. Now they've all run over to the supporters, and why not? We will come back as soon as Des Kelly, our interviewer, gets any Liverpool players or any Spurs players. We'll bring them to you live. We'll get some reaction either way from Des in just a second, but. There we go. Real Madrid have won 13 European Cups, and Milan second on 7 European Cups, and now Liverpool are third with 6 triumphs from 9 finals. 3 of them, they've lost 3 finals. They lost in that infamous final in '85 when 39 supporters lost their lives in a Heysel tragedy, which was a final played for all the wrong reasons, of course. Then they lost in 2007 to AC Milan, who gained revenge for 2005. Pippo Inzaghi, the hero that night from Milan. And then last year they were beaten by a terrific goal from Gareth Bale in last year's final. But you feel for Spurs, but they'll come back stronger, and they've got to take heart from 12 months from what Liverpool had to go through 12 months ago. But they are back, and they're back here. Came back 12 months on, and they're back as winners. And Lovren, who didn't get on at the end, marvellous performance. And thank you, Russ. We are still waiting to hear from any protagonists. We were going to hear from Mo Salah, but then obviously Des Kelly decided, no, we'll let him run off and enjoy the moment. Harry Kane looks a shadow of his former self at the moment, and one hopes he finds his shooting boots for that Nations League semi-final for England. And of course they've got a goal there in a week's time. Very much part of Gareth Southgate's plans as England captain. Beautiful. A lot of the Spurs fans I can notice there watching a view outside the ground. Are leaving early. But I don't think the Liverpool fans will be leaving in a hurry. That is a certainty. And now we can hear from Trent Alexander-Arnold and Mo Salah finally, and they are talking with Des Kelly.
Final, all wiped away tonight. Honestly, I don't know what to say, but everyone is happy now. You win a final. I'm very glad to play the second final in a row and play 90 minutes finally. So everyone did his best to win the game, and I think it's not an individual performance for anyone, but all the team were unbelievable today. Congratulations to all of us and all the fans around the world.
And of course it was a VAR decision, or a VAR check. This week you were telling me you didn't like VAR, you like it now.
What I said is, it's for me, for us, and against us. But now basically I said we're going to see the VAR next season, but I like it anyway now. So yeah, it's a great to win a game.
And a wonderful moment for you. When you think back, you used to travel 9 hours hours to go and play football, 4.5 hours each day, and this is the reward you're getting.
Yeah, I think so. I sacrificed a lot in my career, especially go from my village to Cairo to play football and come back. To be an Egyptian in that level for many years is something unbelievable, so I'm very happy and very glad for that.
I'll go join the celebrations. Trent, come on in. Congratulations. You're a European champion. You're not even 21 years old yet.
It's hard to even put into words what's just happened and the celebrations that are going to happen tonight. I think the season we've had, we've deserved it more than any other team, and I think the run that we've had, we've beat everyone in our path, and we've done something special again tonight. And obviously an early goal and a late goal has finished them off, and we've probably been dominated through the main part of the game, but we've shown we're a world-class side, we can win anyway.
It was kind of a sluggish game in parts. Why was that? Is it the conditions? Was it just a bit of the fact you had a 3-week break?
I don't know. I don't think any of us are even bothered about that. I think when we look back on tonight, we're not going to think it was a sluggish game. We're going to think we've just won the European Cup and we've just done it for all these fans.
What does it mean to join those legends, those Liverpool legends?
I don't know. It's hard to think of myself as a legend. I think, obviously, for me, I'm just a normal lad from Liverpool whose dreams just come true.
Absolutely right. Go and enjoy yourself.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ed. Wow, what a performance it has been there from Liverpool. Trent Alexander-Arnold, a young local lad from Liverpool. As he says, his dreams have come true. You have to spare a thought as a neutral for Spurs. They're just preparing to get the trophy rostrum ready for the runners-up and the winners, of course. Liverpool delighted there. Alisson, who had a super game, gets joint man of the match along with for our supplementary award alongside Virgil van Dijk, who had his usual reliable game as he has done, and both those players have really made a huge difference to Liverpool's cause this season, that is for sure, as the trophy rostrum is now being placed. And of course the European Cup will be of course presented by the UEFA president Alexander Seferin, 51-year-old Slovakian, who's been in office now at UEFA since 2016, replacing the disgraced Michel Platini. Here's Divock Origi now talking with Des Kelly.
We done it. I think it's first about the team. I'm happy that I could play my part, but every single guy fought so hard today. So it's just special. You can see the fans. It's a special day for Liverpool. I can see people wrapping you up here behind me. They're taking you away for the celebration. We'll talk afterwards, perhaps.
Okay,
you do enjoy it, mate.
Well, very short but sweet interview there from Des towards Divock Origi as the presentation party, including Alexander Seferin, the president of UEFA. And it's just a travesty a final like this should not be shown on terrestrial television. Maybe UEFA need to take a leaf out of the FA's book, who have awarded the rights from 2021 to both ITV and BBC Television to cover all the games. So at least the terrestrial viewers will have 40 live matches from there on in to enjoy, including the Charity Shield match at the start, which is going to be covered live on ITV. There's the European Cup, and a great Liverpool legend, former Chester striker Ian Rush, who joined Liverpool from Chester in 1980, came to prominence in the 84 final. I think he scored one of the penalties in the shootout win over Roma. Again, a game that was famous for Bruce Grobbelaar's spaghetti legs. Those of you of an older persuasion will remember that. The European Cup being laid, but we will see the runners-up go first. We're not going to call them losers. They're not losers. They are runners-up. But they may have used up a lot of their luck, really, Tottenham, in getting to the final, because it looked as if a long period of their semi-final against Ajax they looked laboured and down and out, but they came back. There's the officials getting their mementos. I'm not sure if Solenka was the right man to referee, but he didn't referee it too badly. And I'm pleased to report there wasn't a single booking at all, and that's a credit to all 22 players or any other players that really took part. I never, unless something flashed me by and I didn't see it, I don't think anybody at all was booked or red carded throughout the whole match, and you've got to say what a proud day it will be for the Liverpool owner John W. Henry, who's the owner of the football club, an American, and he's going to have a nice European Cup on his sideboard at Anfield, and what a way to adore the new main stand with a 6 European Cups. Tottenham wanted the Chris and Nenu Stadium with the European Cup, but they missed chance after chance in the second half, and Alisson was in superb form. But they are gallant runners-up, there's no doubt about that. They're getting their runners-up medals, their silver medals from Alexander Seferin, the president of UEFA, who organised this tournament. And of course, everybody, including the substitutes, gets medals. And yes, Russ confirming there that there was no bookings whatsoever in terms of the final, and I can also confirm it was 63,272, so not quite a full house of 69,000 as we would have thought, but still a good turnout, but maybe worth for UEFA hold it in a much bigger stadium next time, certainly the Europa League final as well. But Madrid has been a good host to this final. It's been a better atmospheric final than the Europa farce over in Baku in midweek, and our commentary for one moment tonight has been interrupted by unwanted people from India. So they may have won the battle on Wednesday, but they didn't win the war tonight. Son missed key chances in the second half. The keyest of chances fell to Lucas Moura, the substitute, with a quarter of an hour left, and he hit it straight at Alisson, and if that goes in, we might have still been describing extra time as the winners, led by the charismatic Jurgen Klopp. He's a real live wire, Jurgen. He could have won the trophy in his Borussia Dortmund days, but this makes up for his two previous disappointments, one with Dortmund in 2013 and last year against Real Madrid. They were only beaten by a wonder goal really by Gareth Bale and 2 mistakes by Loris Karius, who was invited to be amongst the Liverpool party but declined. There's Virgil van Dijk getting a medal. Sadio Mane, the ex-Southampton man, getting his mitts on the trophy and giving the trophy a kiss. Look at that. Virgil van Dijk. Andrew Robertson, £8 million from Hull. What an inspired signing that was. £8 million. One of the bargains of all time, really, when you think about it. And some of the fringe players getting it. Daniel Sturridge and Shaqiri, who signed this season for Stoke. He didn't get a game, but he gets a medal. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Simon Mignolet there, the penultimate player. Alisson getting his medal and a kiss on the trophy. Joe Gomez, Bobby Firmino didn't have his best game tonight. Adam Lallana. Half of this team has come from Southampton, would you believe? So it's a European Cup final practically made more or less in Southampton. James Milner, a deserved European medal for him, and Jordan Henderson about to join a very exclusive club. Emlyn Hughes, Graham Souness, Phil Thompson, Steven Gerrard, add the name of Jordan Henderson, takes the trophy from Alexander Seferin, the president of UEFA, and comes up to join his players and will lift it high into the Madrid sky. Liverpool, champions of Europe again for the 6th time in our illustrious history. Fireworks and pyrotechnics go off, and they'll celebrate long into the night here in Madrid, and surely thousands more back on Merseyside will celebrate long into the night too. Liverpool, champions of Europe again for the 6th time in their history. It wasn't a classic final, that's for certain, but when it was Matt and Mo's, Liverpool scored the 2 goals that really did matter on the night. They will enjoy the adulation. Spurs will feel justifiably unlucky not to have won the game, but it's Liverpool's European Cup, and no one can deny them that. They make up for the disappointment of 12 months ago when they were beaten by Real Madrid in the final, and they make up for it in the grand manner. 2 goals, one in the first half from a penalty spot after 2 minutes. In the first 3 minutes of the first half by Mo Salah after Sissoko had stupidly given away a penalty. And then right at the end, Divock Origi making it 2-0. And in fact, Divock Origi had been on the pitch for 38 minutes and scored with his only shot on goal. But You Never Walk Alone will be reverberating around this famous old ground, and of course the fields of Anfield and all that. It has been a privilege and an honour tonight. It should have really been Chris Whiteman's, but unfortunately his throat gave in. I wonder how his throat is coping now after watching this 90 minutes that's passed us by. Hopefully we'll hear from him before we leave you tonight, and we're going to be on with you until just after 10:30 here on Twitch, on the JB Claret Twitch channel. And this game will be restreamed, will be recorded live on the JB Claret. They've been watching back in Merseyside at the Liverpool Echo Arena, and I feel for the Spurs fans who are travelled to the White Hart Lane Stadium. They had big, massive screens up at the stadium in North London, but they'll be going home very disappointed indeed. But remember, it was their first final. Maybe the inexperience of not being in a European Cup final told on Spurs, and they had the chance really to complete a treble of sorts. They've already won the European Cup Winners' Cup. We won that back in 1963. They were the first British team to do so, and they won the UEFA Cup in the same year. Liverpool won the European Cup in '84, but tonight it just was maybe one bridge too far, and maybe they'll have to come back next year a much better side. But Liverpool did what they've done, learnt from their lessons of 12 months ago, and this time made no mistakes defensively. They looked sound. I thought Gomez and I thought Matip had a decent game as well. And now they'll go on their lap of honour. Half the stadium now empty because the Spurs fans have gone off home. But the Liverpool fans are still inside this vast arena here in Madrid. The Wanda Metropolitano. A new ground, but a ground with certain atmosphere, and I have to say both Liverpool and Spurs fans really sung their hearts out tonight. 63,000 here tonight, but it's the Liverpool half of the 63,000 that will, as I say, celebrate long into the night here in Madrid, and that means so much. And well, they'll be absolutely, and the ferry will be docking in across the Mersey with the European Cup, to quote another Jerry Marsden song. And the Liverpool fans absolutely dancing with glee here in this magnificent stadium. Whether or not they deserve to win over the 90 minutes, that's in debate and immaterial for another day. But the record books will show that they've won by 2-0. Both goals in the first one. The first one coming in the first 2 minutes of the first half. The second one coming in the final 3 minutes of the second. The penalty from Mo Salah after 2, and then Divock Origi 3 minutes from the end of normal time, settling the issue. Spurs did have chances, and I suppose the old adage in football is if you don't take your chances, invariably you get punished, and that's what happened to Tottenham. And Kieran Trippier is consoled by some of the Tottenham players and some of the Tottenham fans, and that is a nice touch. Kieran Trippier, a man that really does wear his heart on his sleeve, and he's a terrific footballer, and I'm so sad for him, but I'm delighted for Jurgen Klopp, a man that's come so close to winning Europe's biggest prize, and now finally, after years of trying, he's managed to get his hands on the European Cup. The 6th time. They've won it in Italy twice, Wembley once, of course they won it in Paris, won it in Turkey and Istanbul, now they've won it in Spain. Not a bad double hat-trick if you can get it. And I'm just looking at a very disconsolate Son, who probably had the majority of Spurs' best chances tonight. And what was my prediction? I thought it might be a narrow victory for Liverpool. I thought it might be a bit more of a classic. I thought it might be 3-2 to Liverpool after 90 minutes or extra time. I didn't think it would be as much as that. really, because I thought both teams would have performed better. I think the first half was disappointing. Second half was a lot better, but at the end of the day, the Spurs just couldn't march that one step further, and Liverpool, thanks to great goalkeeper from Alisson, joint man of the match, and Virgil van Dijk, they've proved their worth, and that's probably, I mean, those two combined are worth 140 million, and that's probably big money well spent there by Liverpool. They will celebrate long into the night here in Spain, and back on Merseyside there'll be a massive party there, and well, as I said, the ferry will cross the Mersey with the European Cup yet again for Liverpool. They're 6 times champions of Europe, and what a performance. And Russ's food has arrived, so I better leave him to it. Thank you very much for enjoying our coverage tonight, Russ. You go and enjoy your well-deserved food. Well, what a performance it has been. Hopefully we'll hear from Jurgen Klopp before 10:30. Hopefully we'll get Chris on the line very, very shortly, so we can get his opinions on the match. We haven't had a sight or a murmur from him so far this evening, but hopefully we'll hear from him as soon as we get that opportunity, if we do. So well, the celebrations will go along into the night here in Madrid. I absolutely enjoyed myself. I've had a ball out here. It's been a remarkable game. And here we are, the man in the moment, Jurgen Klopp. He's talking with Des Kelly.
I'm so happy for the boys. I'm so happy for these people on the pitch. I'm so happy for my family. They suffer every year when we go to a final, last game of the season, and we lose it. So they deserve it more than anybody, because they're so supportive, like they are. Did you ever see a team like this fighting with absolutely no fuel in the tank anymore? Both teams, obviously. Tottenham came up, changing offensively and all that stuff. And then you have a goalkeeper who makes difficult things looking easy. Very nice. Thank you very much. It's unbelievable. What a night. The night will be much better now. We have to do interviews a little bit and showing the cup to the people. But it's maybe the best night of my life, professional-wise.
I can see you enjoying it so much. And what does it mean to deliver a trophy? Because people can't say, oh, you haven't won a European final anymore now, can they?
Yeah, sorry. So, it took a while, obviously. We tried a lot of times. Oh, it's important, of course, for our development and improvement, because it's always like we are doing good steps, but then people say, yeah, but so far you didn't win anything. So, this little mark helps a lot. So now we can carry on. Look, it's our owners as well, so they never put pressure on us. They're only supportive, really, and then you can deliver this to John, Mike, and Tom. It's brilliant.
Go and enjoy it, drink it in. Normally at this point, if you win a German trophy, you get beer poured over your head. We've had none of that yet, have we?
I don't know. I don't know. It's when I win 20 minutes after the game, already half pissed, but I didn't even get the water. So, sorry.
Go and have a drink.
I tell you what, he's a charismatic figure, Jurgen Klopp. There's no doubt about that. He's one of the Graham's great characters, and whether you like him or whether you love him, or whether he can be a bit like Marmot, but I think he's good for the game, and it's nice to see a nice guy like Jurgen win a nice trophy. He's a charismatic manager. He never stops smiling. He's always got a gag or two for the press. He's just one of those guys that he really loves his game, loves his sport. He's a passionate guy, and you can tell in his interview there how delighted he is. He says it's a small mark. I think it's a big mark. And only Liverpool, I think Liverpool could get even better next season if they can, again, spend wisely and get the right players in shrewdly to improve the team, and maybe try and topple Manchester City at the top of the Premier League summit. Maybe they could be champions again. They were very close to ending that hoodoo, as You Never Walk Alone plays in the background. The line-up, all the squad and the management staff line up as one with the European Cup further forward, and they're enjoying everything, and they're all dancing, all singing as one the fans, staff and players alike to You Never Walk Alone, the song made famous in 1963 by a Liverpoolian legend, Jerry Marsden, and his pacemakers. Started the whole thing off, and it became a Kop anthem favourite, and that is the way it's always been. Scarves in the air, and it's almost as if Anfield is transported. It's almost as if the Kop has been transported here to Madrid. That's how it sounds like to me. Doesn't feel like we're in Madrid, it feels as if we're in Anfield. They'll celebrate. The Tottenham players are back in the sanctuary of the dressing room. Hopefully we'll hear from the beaten manager, Mauricio Pochettino, before we leave you tonight. But it's 26 minutes past 10 o'clock in the UK. Back in the UK, it's probably about coming up towards midnight here in Madrid. John W. Henry there, the Liverpool chairman and the owner of the club, an American. He will be one of the proudest men in the club, I'm sure, as Mo Salah, one of the match winners, holds the trophy high into the Madrid sky. The Liverpool fans and the Liverpool players, I think, will enjoy tonight for all it's worth. They're not going to leave this pitch tonight. They're going to enjoy every moment of this. Now, this is history now, the 6th European Cup final. It's been a remarkable day, and of course, as far as the sport is concerned, there'll be obviously the big fight, of course, involving Anthony Joshua. That takes place, I think, in 3 in the morning as he takes on Andy Ruiz Jr. in the boxing, in the World Heavyweight Championship of the world. And that's so if you've not got any sleep, if you're not a sleepyhead, enjoy that one, won't you? We're hoping to hear from Mauricio Pochettino at the end, and hopefully, I wonder if Chris is. I don't think Chris is going to be with us tonight. Depending on his throat, of course. But we'll be leaving you very, very shortly for the summer, for the end of the stream, and for the summer. Again, our live commentary, our full match commentary started out way back in late July with up at Aberdeen, and we see a rerun of the trophy lift, and well, it's been an amazing day. We'll hopefully get some Spurs reaction, because we don't want to hear both sides of the tale. But tonight it's all about Liverpool, and the way that they play tonight. They dug in doggedly, that's is for sure. They play with some great cohesion, and it's been an amazing sort of night. So we're going to take a couple of minutes, and then we'll come back with a bit more reaction, and we're going to extend the programme to 11:15. So stay with us. We're just going to take a couple of minutes break, and then we'll just get more reaction, and hopefully some reaction, of course, from Tottenham's side of things. But it's Liverpool's night in the European Cup. We'll get more reaction after this short 2-minute break. Welcome back to Madrid for more reaction. Remember, goals in the first minute from a penalty from Mo Salah, then 3 minutes from the end, Divock Origi making it 2-0 to lift the European Cup for Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool. His first major triumph since the German Cup victory of 2012. It's been a long time coming for Liverpool. They're still celebrating now. Jurgen Klopp has been lifted up. They're absolutely loving every second of this, Liverpool, and why not? You've just become champions of Europe. It's your final game before you all go off on the summer break. Some of the Liverpool party will be going off with England to the Nations League, and who knows, they might win that as well. But we'll hope Harry Kane will be okay and fit and in a better frame of mind than what he was during the 90 minutes here in Madrid tonight. I think the match really did pass him by in all truth, as Jurgen Klopp milks every moment of it now. He learnt a lot last year. His team were beaten 3-1 by Real Madrid, 2 mistakes from Carrier. So let's hear from the winning skipper, Jordan Henderson, who's talking with Des Kelly.
Like I've just said before, without the manager this is impossible. You go through tough times, through seasons, but what he's done since he's come to this football club is unbelievable. Not only the players that he's brought in to make the squad stronger, the players that were already here, he's made better, and such a togetherness in the group, and he's created a special dressing room. So yeah, all the praise, everything goes to the manager.
A little special moment for you as well, one that will live forever. You walk up to lift the trophy that Evan Hughes picked up twice, Bill Thompson once, Graham Souness once, Steven Gerrard, and now they're adding your name to that list. That's fantastic.
Yeah, you know, I'm just so, like I said before, I'm so proud to be part of this football club. I've been here a long time now, but to captain it is even more special for me, you know. It means everything to us football since I was a kid, and yeah, I've just tried to give my best every time I play football and help my team no matter what. Through tough times, and it's been difficult over my career, but I kept going, just like this team's kept going. And you have moments like this is what you do it for, you know. This is the best moment in my life, apart from my children. This is the best moment in my life. This is what I've dreamed of since a kid. And I just like I said, thank you to everyone, you know, especially my mum and dad, my family, my kids at home, Alexa and Alba, I love you. Yeah, everybody, just, yeah. But like, it's not about me. It's not about me, you know. It's not about me captaining, lifting the trophy. It's special, of course, for me. But it's not about that. It's about this football club. It's about these players. It's about this manager. And now we need to keep going and kick on.
Go and save it the night. Drink it all in.
Yes, save it the night. Drink it all in. That has been the way all night. And I've got to be honest. I think Liverpool just about held on in the end. But you have to feel a little bit of sympathy for Tottenham, who really performed in the second half. They didn't really turn up, I thought, in the first, but I was disappointed really with Harry Kane. Maybe they rushed him back. Remember, he did his ligaments in 7 weeks ago. It's been 7 weeks of hard work, but 7 weeks it just hasn't been enough for him on the day. And I have to say that the whole match really did pass him by in terms of the way it went. So we're hoping to hear from hoping to hear from the other side of the coin, of course. So hopefully from Mauricio Pochettino before we leave you in something like 10 minutes from now here. My time's just come up towards 22 minutes to 11 back in the United Kingdom, and let's go through the post-mortem of what was the final. This was the start of the game. Liverpool had the kick-off, of course, and they played a long ball forward, and it was Mane who got the possession, as you'll see in a moment, as I see in a moment, as he gets the ball forward. A game of head tennis going on at that point, and then the ball was flicked over. Mane stayed onside as the ball was played. Now Sissoko comes into the picture, and as the cross comes in, he's clearly got his arm out. Peter Walton, the television, the former referee working for BT Television in the UK, said it was a penalty. I concur. It hits his arm. It's a natural position. If it's in an unnatural position, then you can't give the penalty. But the outstretched arm, I'm not sure Sissoko's got any cause there to complain. Glenn Hoddle did fight his, obviously his team's corner. He's a Spurs man through and through. He's going to say that. But I still think that's a penalty. If it's hit any part of his arm and it's outstretched, then it is a penalty for my money. So Liverpool got the opportunity. They've shown it about 4,000 times. But let's just see the penalty again. Yeah, but the referee made the call. And then Mo Salah stepped up. Call as you like to slot away the penalty. We'll talk you through that one again. But that was a real turning point. Not that it was gonna be the actual turning point, because after that Spurs did have chances in the second half and they just didn't take them. We're hoping still to hear from Pochettino, but to me that still hits his arm. I don't care how much Glenn Hoddle tries to butter it up. It's a clear penalty for me. His arm's out and it's asking for trouble. It's hit his arm. It's a penalty. Whichever way you want to butter it up, I think the referee got it right. His arm is going out to the ball and the referee's seen it that way, and that's a penalty. And I think I don't think Spurs or even Glenn Hoddle, God bless his soul, can really argue with that. But there you go. But that was what was said at half time. Of course, we won't be hearing from many of the pundits on television because I don't want Lineker on my channel. No disrespect, Gary. But the Liverpool fans there, I can just notice they're leaving here. I think, are we going to get any more interviews before the night's out? But this was the penalty. Let's just look at the penalty again. Salah left-footed, goes down the middle. Lloris probably dived a little too soon, maybe, and dived underneath the ball. If he'd have just dived a split second later, I think he would have got it. So maybe Lloris will be kicking himself there for going a bit too soon. Mo Salah hit it though, true as you like, and it went straight down the middle, and into the back of the net. And then the second goal, there the ball comes in. Spurs had maybe three goals to clear it, and Origi came out to him, left of the penalty spot area, strikes it across the face into the right hand corner of the net, and really it wasn't great Spurs defending in all truth there. But having said that, it was a very very good finish there by Divock Origi, and no chance there for Hugo Lloris. I do feel a bit of sympathy there for Tottenham, who really gave really did finish it off with a terrific performance. The sixth time they've won the European Cup, and the stadium is just starting to empty here in Madrid. I'm not sure if we're going to hear from Mauricio Pochettino before the end of the thing at the moment, but Jordan Henderson, what a proud captain he has been. That is absolutely for sure. He's gone through a lot in his career. I think we're still gonna, hopefully we'll hear something before the evening's out. It's coming up to just gone past 22, but hopefully we'll hear something before the end. But you heard in that interview there with Jordan that it has been really, really tough. The stadium is now over, and it will be over to AJ at 2 in the morning over in America to see what he can do for British sport. Well, the French Open and the Derby and the European Cup Final have all been and gone. As I say, it wasn't a particularly great final, and that was down to possibly the weather and the fact that they haven't played each other, but they haven't played a match for 2.5 weeks. But having said all that, it was an amazing game. The second half I felt was brilliant, and and even a good-looking streaker was good, and I can tell you she did have protection on as well. I know she was half stark, as so we say. But having said that, though, very much enjoyed the commentary. It's been an amazing performance. I thought Liverpool gave it their best shot. I thought Spurs gave it their best shot in the second half. But I do think Harry Kane, for him, first big final, it passed him. I think it actually passed him by in terms of the way it all went wrong, really. But there we go. But yeah, Liverpool took their chances and take the European Cup back to Anfield for the 6th time, and it has been a performance of true grit and determination, certainly from Liverpool's point of view. But I enjoyed it as a commentator. It was very much enjoyable, and very much enjoyed bringing this to you. And once we've got some more reaction before the evening's out, this is our final game of our season, which started, of course, way back in July last year with the trip up to Aberdeen to cover Burnley in Europe for the first time in 50 odd years, 51 years. We covered a piece at the start. We covered a piece of European history for Burnley, their first match in Europe for 51 years. And now, this last day of the season, we've covered European history for Liverpool, the first English team to win 6 European Cups in the history of the competition, and a big well done to them. Spurs, in their first, showed a lot of character, showed a lot of fight, had chances in the second half, but had inexperience in the biggest of finals. Just proved the difference on the day, and Liverpool put last year's wrongs when they were beaten by 2 mistakes from their goalkeeper and had won the goal from Gareth Bale that did it. Klopp of the Pops, the television people are saying at the moment. Klopp of the Pops, the top of the Pops, Liverpool, the top of the European Pops. If Britain didn't do too well in the Eurovision Song Contest some 2 weeks ago, they've certainly done well in the European Cup final. 2 English teams in the final, but unfortunately Spurs, after all their efforts, scored 0 points, and Liverpool just needed the 2 to take the victory, and Spurs very, very upset, and quite right too. Well, hopefully we'll hear some reaction from Mauricio Pochettino or 1 or 2 of the Spurs players. And in fact, I think we can hear from Mauricio Pochettino again, and talking with Lindsay Hipgrave.
I'm sure there's a huge amount of frustration, but also a huge amount of pride of how far your team have come this season.
No, of course, I think we need to feel very proud about the effort, how we fight for right to this final. Very unlucky, the fair action. We conceded a goal on a penalty, and until to the end we were alive, fighting. I think we played so well. We played so well. Second half, it's not easy to play against a team that's playing transition very, very well, taking risks. I feel so proud. Nothing to say. A little bit unlucky. I start a final in the Champions League 1-0 from the start. It's a tough situation. Change complete the plans, and I think we try. We feel very proud of this player, our fans. I think for first time to be in the Champions League final is about to be optimistic for the future.
After all the planning and preparation, how tough is it for you as a manager to find yourselves behind so early in the game to that handball decision?
That is a circumstance that we cannot manage, and it's difficult to prepare. You never believe that after 1 minute you are going to be 1-0 down, and a situation that not only change the plan, if not change the dynamic, the emotional game, mental, very tough, is a psychological that increase the level of the opponent, and of course for you it's so tough. It's about to learn. It's about to live the experience. Look, Liverpool last year was in our position today, and today they are in a position that was Real Madrid. Only I am so happy and so pleased to manage this group of players. But congratulate to Liverpool, because I think they were a fantastic. They had a fantastic season.
And you've shown you're here to stay at this level of football. You set the standard now.
Yes, the standards are so high. But wasn't enough today. That is a little bit a shame. When you live this experience, you want to be again, and you want to repeat. It's the best situation on the best game on the world after the World Cup. I think it's fantastic to be there. Hope that we can repeat in the future.
And will you be there to lead Tottenham, to try and lead them to another Champions League final next season?
Always. It's about to try, it's about to believe, it's to build the journey. Hope that happen again as soon as possible.
Thank you, Mauricio.
Well, there is Mauricio Pochettino, and that interview conducted by Lindsay Hipgrave. So there we go. This was some of the Tottenham chances. They had umpteen of them in the second half. It seems a long time ago now, as ball gets in there, and Harry Kane there should merely be gambling inside the 6-yard area. Nowhere close. He goes near post, opts to go near post. Trippier put in a wicked ball, I have to say. And then Kane gets the ball forward, and Son played it in there, and Dele Alli tried to chip the goalkeeper. He's never going to chip Alisson with a little chip like that. And then Trippier again getting in on the far side. He chipped it forward, and Ali heading over the bar. Another missed chance there. And then Son with a 25-yard right foot thunderbolt, forcing Alisson into the save. But this was the big chance. Rose laying the ball in, and Lucas Moura should score there for me. Ericsson with a wicked free kick that looked as if it was going in the top corner, but again Alisson made a cracking save. Then Kane got Son in again. Son running at the defenders, got his shot off, and again a marvellous save by Alisson, and that was probably the real difference over the course of the game. That won Liverpool the European Cup. Just to remind you of the JB joint man of the match, and that was that was jointly won by Virgil van Dijk and Alisson, the Liverpool goalkeeper. There's still Liverpool fans around the stadium. The confetti is all over the pitch here in Madrid. It's been one of those nights where it could have toed and froed. If Spurs take one of their chances, we might have been carried on now commentating on a penalty shootout rather than commentating on the post-match celebrations that are taking place right now. But at the end of the day, it was always going to be a tough ask. It was always going to be really tough. But at the end of the day, Liverpool got the job done. And sometimes in life it happens that way. Liverpool, the European champions, and we've just about come to the end of our programme here, and the end of our season, which started way back in Aberdeen and back in July, some sort of 11 months ago. And wow, it was some season. We've gone through all the Premier League season with one of the most brilliant title races for years. The FA Cup again produced its fair amount of surprises. The one regret of the season, we didn't cover two major finals. One was denied us by some Indian company, and that was on Wednesday, and what a final we were robbed off there. That got taken down, but tonight we got our revenge, and we covered the Europe's biggest final. We didn't cover the League Cup because of the final, because of illness to me, and I would have been the main commentator on that one too. Tonight it should have been about Chris and as well, but I have to tell you, it's not the success of the channel, the success of the YouTube channel, and tonight on Twitch. It's not just down to me, it's down to other people behind the scenes, my usual moderators when we're covering games on YouTube, I'd like to thank Panini, I'd like to thank Mike, I'd like to thank Russ, I'd also like to thank Chris, our 5 moderators, absolutely anonymous, another one of our moderators, our 5 moderators, plus myself, for keeping every comment as clean as possible throughout the season. I'd like to thank my other 2 commentators who have helped me along, cover as many games. We've covered 72 matches this season, more than we've ever covered domestically this season, and that's partly thanks to our 2 other commentators, Chris Whiteman and Russ Vernon, who have been colossus in the commentary box and have been the best backup to me I could ever possibly have. 2 great backup commentators, and I will be more than happy to have them back on board for next season, and hopefully they will be back, both of them, for next season. And it's been a pleasure to have them on board and carrying on their great commentating form from the World Cup. So thank you very much to Russ and to Chris for their contributions this season, and most of all, thank you to you, the listeners. You know, we've never given in, even at the bad times. On Wednesday, our world was falling apart when we lost our stream on Wednesday due to circumstances that we'll never be able to understand, and we'll always look to add. And we're always looking to expand the channel, even on YouTube, Mike, and we'll be happy to join. If you talk to, we'll negotiate during the summer break, Mike, about you getting on board with the commentaries, because we're going to try and beat 72 matches this season. Next season we want to get more matches in, and of course there's the Euros, so we might need a 4th commentator next season anyway, with the Euro 2020 coming up. So our 4th commentator is absolutely is absolutely probably essential. So we'll look to blend you into the team, into the commentary team. So we are looking for a new commentator. So Mike, you might be the man we're looking for to cover some commentary for us next season during the actual season and the European Championships, and that would be marvellous. So that's the end of our broadcast tonight. It's been a marvellous night in Madrid. That Indian company may have won the battle on Wednesday, trying to ruin our season, but they didn't win the war. We got Twitch sorted out. And remember, just to remind you, next season we'll be back on YouTube on the 28th of August, 2 weeks into the new season. But for the first few games, we'll be live on Twitch. But some of the games we'll be able to put you on record for you to put on YouTube. And then on the 28th, our 90-day ban will be over, and we'll be back with bells on for YouTube. More Premier League action, more Championship games, more European action, more League Cup games, more FA Cup ties. We'll have all the lot covered for you, and of course we'll be in negotiations with Mike during the summer for a 4th commentator, because we probably will need one for next season, with the European Championships very much in mind, as we look to try and up our live quota of tournament football games, which stand at about 23 games that we covered in the World Cup last year. So yes, I'll be definitely open for Mike to join our expanding team, and he's been a fantastic contributor and moderator during the season. Also Panini and Absolutely Anonymous, again, they've been amazing as well, moderating as well. Russ has been a marvellous commentator when he's chipped in, when he's had to chip in. He did some great games. Chris, in the first half of the season especially, was the star of the show, commentating some big matches throughout the season. But it's it should have been his gig tonight, and unfortunately his voice didn't hold out. And it was his idea, in fact, that to air the game on Twitch. So we've got to thank Chris for that, and he'll be back next year. We'll be back next year. Have a fantastic summer. Enjoy yourselves. But for me, JB, have a fantastic summer. We'll be back in August. Initially live on Twitch for the first couple of weeks, then back on YouTube from the 27th of August onwards, hopefully all the way through to the end of the season. Thank you very much for enjoying our coverage, mainly on YouTube and here on Twitch tonight. Have a wonderful summer. But we leave you tonight with Liverpool Champions of the World, from myself, Russ, Chris and everybody else who's been involved in our coverage this season. Enjoy this summer, and good night to you all. Good night.